Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I'm Dustin Jackson.
And it is June. It is almost summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It is almost winter in the Southern Hemisphere. It's Pride Month. You know what it isn't, Dustin?
What is it not?
It's not almost E3. Because there is no E3 this year.
Oh, no. Again?
Again, yeah, we're doing this whole thing again. No, so obviously, E3 was scuttled entirely earlier this year when, all the COVID variants were still fierce, and COVID cases are rising here in the States again, so it's probably for the best. They said, hey, people flying in from around the world into an enclosed space in downtown Los Angeles might not be the best thing.
Right.
So, however, unlike last year where they attempted a digital E3, which was kind of weak. It was kind of tepid. Especially from E3 itself, it was kind of a disaster. The studios played along, all the big ones who normally play along with E3 tried their best, but it just wasn't the same, and they just decided this year, we're just not going to do it. We're not going to do E3. But I am.
I'm sorry.
No, I refuse to just not have that third week in June where we, have a celebration of video games. And so our Not E3 2022 will kick off this coming Friday, June 10th. That's right. We're going to have a live conversation starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, our Not E3 2022 preview episode. And I know what you're thinking, Dustin. How can you have a preview for something that's not happening? Well,
how did you read my thoughts like that?
I'm pretty good like that. Some people say I have the gift.
I've been saying that to everyone for years. I just didn't know that's what the gift was.
So, there's going to be, at the very least, an Xbox Bethesda presentation on Sunday, June 12th. So that little bit of normalcy, that slice of reliability is still on the table. I tell you, Dustin, whatever happened to the milkman and how did the lyrics go? The Paperboy,
Evening TV.
Evening TV. Whatever happened to evening TV? TV's not on in the evening anymore. It's just static. Whatever happened to the good old days?
Better times.
So we have that to look forward to. So, you know what? We are going to have our Not E3 2022 preview live conversation this coming Friday, June 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. On Saturday morning, June 11th, I will be going on my E3 bear hike, or I guess I should say my Not E3 bear hike, where legend tells, if I see a bear in the forest, then we will be blessed with good tidings for E3, or in this case, not E3. And I can still read your mind, Dustin, and you're thinking, okay, so we're just going to pretend like E3 is happening. but all we've got going is this Xbox Bethesda presentation where at most we might have a Sea of Thieves trailer, probably. Right?
Hyle, you're so good at tapping into my cynical asshole brain.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. We don't know if Nintendo is going to have a Nintendo Direct that week. We don't know. We don't know. You would think, they would have a Nintendo Direct for, Tuesday, June 14th, which is when they would normally have it, were, E3 a thing. That is the day they would have it. And so Nintendo hasn't announced anything in advance yet. And, when Nintendo isn't shackled by conventional structures, a timetable, then they announced their E3 Direct well in advance. But otherwise, they they'll just like give you 24 to 48 hours notice. Hey, we're having a direct this day, this time. Sorry if you have to work. Sorry if you have a, doctor's appointment. Sorry if you're going to miss it, but this is when we're doing it. So they might be pulling this shit on us where we don't know until a couple days in advance. So here's what's going to happen, Dustin. If Nintendo is doing their normal direct at any point this week, we will be doing a live conversation for that. Because we're doing a live conversation for the Xbox Bethesda presentation on Sunday, June 12th. We're doing that at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So if Nintendo does do a live direct, we will do our Not E3 2022 Nintendo episode whenever that week they do it. If it's Tuesday, June 14th, we'll do a live conversation for 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. If it's another day, we'll do it that day. If it's not any day that week, don't worry, I've got a backup plan.
Ooh.
Yes. We will be doing a episode that is an E3 episode without any E3 announcements, without an E3 presentation. It's our ideal fantasy E3, where we openly daydream about what would be the best ever E3 for Donkey Kong universe fanatics.
Wow, I'm kind of more excited for that. I kind of hope they don't do it direct now.
I kind of hope the new Donkey Kong game never comes out.
Let's just do this every year.
So those are my plans, because Nintendo isn't telling me what their plans are for what would traditionally be E3 week. It's going to be not E3 2022, but we're not doing a streamaganza this time. It's going to be more open-ended, because I don't want to just focus on our Twitch channel. I want to encompass the entirety of DK Vine, including our Twitch channel, but also we're going to throw in some other surprises along the way there, because I do have other content lined up, regardless of any game announcements we may or may not get that week. And it's not looking that hot right now for getting any announcements that week, but I still want to have that celebration, that kickoff to summer that we always look forward to. And I thought the best way to do that would be to have another conversation that week, in addition to all the Not E3 2022 episodes we would normally have, where we have yet another DKU Tribunal special session. And I've already kind of tipped my hat on social media to what this game we're going to be relitigating may be. I mean, I've already basically given away on social media. You have to go to DK Vine's social media channels. I'm not going to say it right here. Damn it, I'm trying to get followers, trying to get likes and retweets. Smash that button.
You think this is all free? Go to Twitter and follow. Hyle lives off of these follows. If you don't follow him on Twitter, guess what, buddy? You don't get to hear about rhinos and video games and all that such
I'll just
nonsense.
Stop this episode right now.
We'll shut this show down.
So, okay, are you following me, Dustin? Is my scattered, frenzied thoughts on how to make up for the lack of E3 making sense to you yet?
I'm going to pretend and say yes.
Okay, so my thinking is we're going to do this DKU Tribunal episode, so at the very least, there is a chance we will get a new DKU game for the week of E3, even if it's an old game that hasn't been categorized as DKU yet.
Wow.
See, I am going to deliver what the studios and the developers will not. I will give you the gift of a new DKU game.
Hyle, you're like a sexy Santa Claus.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the sexy Santa Claus, because as I've often bemoaned, there's the whole subgenre of Christmas music about lusty ladies wanting to get down and dirty with old Saint Nick. You know what I'm talking about? You know, where they're like,
I know. Santa,
come down my chimney tonight, and also come down my fireplace and give me presents.
Yeah, how could that be misconstrued?
Santa, I know you come from the North Pole, but tonight I'm going down on your South Pole.
Santa, have you ever had a tongue shoved down your throat?
Santa, I'm gonna eat your asshole tonight.
Santa drops by that house every now and then.
So anyway, I can be that sexy Santa.
You too can have your ass eaten out.
That's all I want for not E3 week. I'm gonna get on that stage. I'm gonna reveal my T-shirt and nothing else underneath.
The crowd goes wild.
Oh my god, this is off to a bad start. So anyway, we're gonna have other streams that week. It's not gonna be a streamaganza because I don't want to limit ourselves to a rigid schedule like we did in 2020. I want to be like Nintendo and just kind of be freewheeling this time and be like, we're going to do whatever and you're going to deal with it. But we will have some fun streams, maybe some surprise content, written and visual. A lot of stuff will be coming your way this week. I am booking the whole week. I'm going to be taking lots of caffeine and downing lots of cider. And it's just going to be a constant stream of Donkey Kong Universe entertainment. So
I've got my fingers crossed for the HD remaster of Donkey Kong versus Mr. T.
That's not happening, but you know what?
Man.
Who knows? Who knows? It might happen. I don't want to deprive anybody of like their E3 dreams. It would be
I'm just saying. Grant Kirkhope said that Banjo and Kazooie might not be into Smash, and here we are. So
here we are. Yeah.
Don't believe everything Hyle says.
So stick with DK Vine all week long, starting Friday, June 10th, because I realize nobody is excited about E3. I realize nobody's excited about E3 this year because there is no E3 this year.
Yeah.
But we will make the best of it, as we always do.
Yeah, it's like How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe E3 means a little bit more.
Well, it's like Matt and I were talking last week. Sometimes the best E3s are when no games are announced and we get to make our own fun. And maybe we can just take that even further. Sometimes the best E3s are when E3 doesn't even happen at all. So, anyway, not E3 2022 week will also be kicking off what I'm calling DK Vine's Stinky Ape Summer.
Perfect name.
Yeah, or well-groomed New World Monkey Winter if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, because I don't want to leave anybody out.
I'm glad you're so inclusive.
Yeah.
Both names are wonderful.
So, starting from not E3 2022 week until late September, we are going to have special events, special videos, and big-time conversation episodes. Not this run-of-the-mill shit you're listening to now. No. I'm talking about spectacular conversations, including some big-name interviews. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, so no matter what the summer provides the DKU, DK Vine will be bringing the DKU to the summertime with DK Vine's Stinky Ape Summer or Well-Groomed New World Monkey Winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And that is the official name. All of that. So
just the name alone really sends shivers down my spine. You know, I can feel like I can tell we're in for something big here.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about Rambi the Rhinoceros.
I guess.
Let's press F for Rambi. Let's pay our respects to Rambi. And of course you have to press F for Rambi because Rambi is the letter F in the Donkey Kong Country for Game Boy Color alphabet.
It's my favorite one. I don't know why just Rambi under the big F is wonderful.
Because Rambi fucks, Dustin.
That is true. I forgot about that.
And I want to give a special shout out to everyone listening live right now in the secret Twitch live stream conversation chat. We got Gibbon, of course, but we've got Jebaha, we've got Ray Day Pinball, and they're going on this journey together with us. They're riding the Rhino It's getting crowded on him, but we're going to make it work.
That's my favorite beer slogan.
So, this is our first character witness episode that's about an animal buddy. And that
I'm
might
happy to be here for it.
That might be surprising, though, Dustin, because we love the animal buddies at DK Vine. We love the animal buddies here in the Kongversation studio. So why is it taking us so long to do a proper character witness on one of them?
Can I take a guess on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because there's not that much to say about any of them.
Well, so, yeah. I mean, no, there's plenty to say about all of them, and I'm including...
That's true, my mistake.
I'm including even the dubious ones, like Zygmunt the Zebra from Donkey Kong Country Returns, or...
I didn't know he had a name.
Well, it's a fanon name.
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
It's one of DK Vine's fanon names. Also, Skye, the flying squirrel, not to be confused with Flurl, the flying squirrel from off of Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, but Skye, the flying squirrel, SQY, which is our fanon name for the second flying squirrel that's on screen at the same time with Flurl, that you can jump from Flurl to the other one, so we named it Skye. We could do a character witness on Skye, SQY, but I figured the best place to start would probably be Rambi, and we had this discussion, Dustin. I was like, I think we should do a character witness on an animal buddy. Mm-hmm. And we were waffling between Rambi and Squawks. And I was like, well, Squawks, I feel like there's a lot more to talk about. Squawks has actually had the biggest character arc out of any of the animal buddies. But I think we were both more intrigued about doing a Rambi episode first, because Rambi is sort of a more challenging topic. Just a bit.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to do Rambi over Squawks, I love Squawks, but, Rambi is the very first animal buddy you meet. To me, he is Donkey Kong's Yoshi, basically.
I think he's Donkey Kong's Yoshi for a couple of reasons. Practicality-wise, he's Donkey Kong's Yoshi because he's the first animal buddy you encounter, and therefore he's the only animal buddy people who only get, 3 levels deep will ever see. So he sticks in people's minds more, right?
I rode the Rhino. I get the gist. I don't need to play any more of this.
The Rambi, and then in Guard, and then it kind of tapers off from there. But, everybody knows Rambi who knows Donkey Kong Country, roughly. So,
right.
He is Donkey Kong's Yoshi for that reason. But I think in-universe, he could be definitely seen as the main animal buddy, at least in relation to Donkey Kong. I would maybe make the argument that maybe, from Dixie Kong's perspective, Rambi isn't the main animal buddy, but definitely from Donkey Kong's perspective, he is. And to really delve into that, I think we need to parse out Rambi's backstory as best we can.
Yeah, we can try. I'm down. I'm always down to talk about Rambi the Rhino.
I like how I could see the hamster on the wheel in your skull just now, because I can read minds, and I can also see minds, and I know that you have a little domesticated rodent in there. And
yeah, you saw Chipper running around on his little wheel.
So, and I said Rambi's backstory, and you were like, well, Rambi doesn't have a backstory. He's a rhino that you ride, and you run into bad guys with, and you can break through some walls with. That there's no backstory to Rambi, right? That's what was happening with that hamster.
Yeah, more or less,
More or less, indeed. Well, when I talk about Rambi's backstory, it's mostly implication, implied context in the games themselves. And I think we need to have this out right here and right now before we proceed. And actually, this is an important debate for most animal buddies, sans the parrots. But I feel like it's really important with Rambi above all others. So let's have it out, Dustin. And we may not come to an agreement, but I think we need to have the debate.
Oh, I'm ready to really get into it.
Is Rambi just like a big dog, or can Rambi talk? Is he anthropomorphic?
Let me hear your side of things. Let me hear your side of the debate.
Okay, so here's my thinking. Because I have thought long about this. And I mean, I had these debates back in 1994, 1995. And in the games, he's mostly portrayed as sort of a big dog, sort of an exotic take on a domesticated canine. You know, you hop off him and he starts panting. You know, he's silent. The only possible canonical interpretation that he can talk, when I say canonical, I mean in the games, right, is the very nebulous dialogue balloon in Donkey Kong 64. When you transform into Rambi in Donkey Kong 64, you get a dialogue thought balloon that's the sort of in-house style for DK64 for all of the characters. And it comes up, but unlike a character like Squawks, that's clearly conversing with the characters and with their own dialogue and little linguistic tweaks. Rambi's comes
off... linguistic gymnastics.
Yeah, Rambi comes off as more instructional than conversational. I'm going to read you what's in this supposed dialogue balloon when you transform into Rambi. To return to being DK, press and hold Z, and then press left C button. Press and hold Z, and then press B to charge attack.
Ah, that classic Rambi line.
Yeah, if that was Rambi dialogue, then he needs a place at the Algonquin Round Table, because that dude is verbose and witty. Oh my. Oh my. No, I would argue that it's mostly because Donkey Kong 64 doesn't have any other way to display instructions like that, and so it used the dialogue balloon, but it's not actually emanating from Rambi.
I agree, because that's what they do for all of the bonus barrels and stuff as well.
Yeah, sometimes it's used for, mostly it's used for characters, but it's also used for inanimate objects and just to let the player know, hey, this is what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And for all we know, that's Squawks talking to you just off screen. We just can't see him or hear him. Because that...
whispering into your ear.
That sounds like vintage Squawks, you know. Squawks always going on about the left C button.
That is his favorite button in the game. Who can blame him?
Now, to be fair, in some non-canonical outside media... not games, not anything made by Rare or later studios. Because let me be upfront about this, and this is DK Vine, what we stand by. I realize your mileage may vary. If you want to say the Donkey Kong Country Cartoon Show is your personal canon, that's fine. You can make it work, but that's besides the point, because Rambi isn't even in that. But DK Vine views the only outside media as canon to the DKU are the ones that the studios had a direct hand in developing, cultivating, promoting, and weaving back into the tapestry of the games. So the Viva Pinata cartoon was the first, and then we've got all of the Sea of Thieves expanded universe material. We've got Yooka-Laylee and the Crackle Stone. I guess the Yooka-Laylee card game, the game decks thing, and then I guess the Battletoads, the new Battletoads comic could be viewed as canon. But besides that, everything else is basically just doing its own thing. And if you want to view it as canon, if you want to work it in, I'm not here to stop you, but that's not what DK Vine is going to hold as canon. We're not going to use this as evidence that, hey, Rambi can talk. But in some non-canonical outside media, he was portrayed as talking. For example, in the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special from 1995, which was a one-off kids magazine published in the UK during the height of Donkey Kong Country Mania, it had 3 original comic strips in it, which are interesting in their own right. Dustin, did you know that one of these? Well, actually, it was not even in one of the comic strips. I think it was just in this extra feature on how to draw Donkey Kong. It introduced a new Kong called Ringo Kong.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah.
I love any sort of weird, bizarre offshoot Kongs.
Yeah, I might have to do a tweet about this weekend. Ringo Kong, who is a Kong wearing 60s sunglasses in a Star Wars t-shirt for some reason. Ringo Kong teaches you how to draw Donkey Kong with dialogue. Let me just read you Ringo Kong's dialogue right here. This is getting way besides the point, but I know I hooked everyone by mentioning Ringo Kong. Hiya, banana fans. Ringo here, Donkey Kong's very own cool and groovy cartoonist. Today I'm going to show you all how to draw your very own Donkey Kong. So here we go with Ringo's Guide to Drawing Donkey Kong. Ringo Kong.
I love this.
Yeah.
I need to see this guy.
You know what? I'll show you, but right now, I can't be bothered. So
yeah, I would love to do an episode about Ringo Kong, but we're here to talk about Rambi.
You know, the Kongversation, season 89, episode 24. Character witness Ringo
It's
Kong.
either him or Uncle Kong from the Japanese DKC2 guide.
Eventually, you know, we'll either get that desperate for content or they will be made canon through some rogue developer.
Fuck it, put him in.
And yeah, I'm all for Ringo Kong being made canon. I'll take Ringo Kong before Bluster, if I'm honest.
I don't know. It's so close for me. You know what? I'm going to say I would too. Hyle, you know I like to draw. I kind of weave a picture every now and then, so I think having a cartoonist in Donkey Kong's world makes him more relatable.
Named Ringo for some reason. So
yeah.
Anyway, in the first of these comic strips, in the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special, Donkey and Diddy have interactions with Rambi and Engard, and Rambi and Engard can both speak. And they have very bizarre dialogue, because even if you've ever imagined Rambi speaking any language, you probably never thought of him saying these words. Dustin, would you like to read Rambi's written dialogue from the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special?
I would love to. Just this first panel here? Or like all of them?
You can just describe what you're seeing in the panel that I provided you, and then read what Rambi is saying.
Okay, so in this panel, we see Donkey Kong and Rambi conversing. Donkey Kong is grabbing Rambi by the horn, and boy, his foot is huge. But DK says to his good friend Rambi, "Rambi, it sure is good to see you, big guy." And Rambi looks DK right in the eye, and he says, "The pleasure is all mine, Donkey Kong. Happen to be in the area. Glad to be of service, especially where Kremlings are involved."
Yeah, so...
Boy, Rambi's mouth.
Yeah. Rambi's got this... It's weird to see Rambi in any other depiction other than, like, the stock render Rare used during the entire history of Rambi and the Country and Land trilogies. But... yeah, that's not really what I would expect Rambi to say. Even
just this really well-spoken.
Yes. "Oh, the pleasure is all mine, Donkey Kong. Happened to be in the area. Oh, glad to be of service. Oh, especially where those old Kremlins are involved."
That's definitely someone Donkey Kong would hang out with.
Yeah. So, describe the second panel, if you please.
So... in the in the second panel, Donkey Kong is torturing a critter. He's like breaking his arm, bending it backwards. And he's saying, "Ready to talk yet? Where are my bananas?" And Rambi is humping a big spire, a big mountain spire. He's hanging onto the top of it, and he says, "I suggest you decide quickly, Kremling. I might fall off here any second."
Yeah, so basically Donkey Kong and Rambi are betraying the Geneva Conventions. And I imagine Donkey Kong 2 is saying that dialogue as Christian Bale's Batman. Ready to talk yet? Where are my bidets?
Where are my bidets, you filthy gremlin?
Yeah, and they're basically like the critter's arm is broken, and now and they're threatening that Rambi is going to land on him. And I'm like,
he looks pained. He looks like he's in so much pain.
And I'm like, one, where is this giant spire on Donkey Kong Island? Two, you're an enormous rhinoceros with a deadly horn. Surely there are better ways to threaten the critter than to climb up a giant termite mound or whatever the hell this is, and threaten to fall on him when you could just gore him and call it a day.
Yeah, in the games you can just ram into him and he's just immediately dead. You don't have to prolong it.
Yeah, which says to me that in this depiction, in this interpretation of Donkey Kong Country canon, both Donkey Kong and Rambi became friends because they're both sadists, and they enjoy inflicting psychological torture on anyone they perceive is beneath them.
Yeah, this critter literally probably gave up when he saw him coming, and they're still breaking his arm.
Yeah. So we got another panel of Rambi, if you would, Dustin.
I would love to. The little box at the top says, not much later. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are riding on back of Rambi, and they're outside the Lost Mines with a sign saying, keep out. Can I just say I really enjoy this artwork? Some of it's a little wonky, but it's really charming. It's not often you get to see these characters depicted like this.
It's that great... I do agree. I enjoy the artwork. In this entire... special, I suggest anybody look it up. I think Nintendo Life did ran the whole thing a while back, but the artwork reminds me of that era, that era before everything Nintendo became very standardized, and so you would have things be slightly off model but still adhering to the actual character models of Donkey Kong Country. And so you get that it's kind of like a more stout looking Donkey Kong and a little bit looser Diddy, but it's still very faithful and very true to what we would expect.
Yeah, look at this grin on Rambi. He never does that in the games, but it's awesome seeing these characters depicted in such a different way, since you just never get that. But anyway, so they're outside the Lost Mines. Donkey Kong is looking down at a grinning Rambi. Donkey Kong says, "This is the place. Thanks for the lift, Rambi." And Rambi says, "A pleasure, Donkey Kong. I'd offer you to come along, but I don't think I'd be much help to you down a mine shaft."
Oh, pleasure, Donkey Kong. Absolute pleasure.
That's why we hang out. We get each other.
Yeah. It doesn't really work for me, Dustin. I have to admit. And look, honestly, I think no matter what happens with the future of Donkey Kong, the rumor new Donkey Kong game, which I would imagine Rambi would probably be in.
I think he seems like a safe bet. I would assume.
I think the games are going to continue to keep this ambiguous. A possible Donkey Kong movie, less so, if Rambi or any of the animal buddies show up. But I do hope they keep the interpretation at least open, for my taste, that most of the animal buddies are just wildlife. The equivalent to the Kongs of dogs and cats to us. Mm-hmm. Because I think it provides that nice contextual, relatable aspect to their lives that we can, connect to. And while I don't mind the broader DKU, expanding to include anthropomorphic animals, including rhinos like Big Al and Banjo Kazooie, I feel like the Donkey Kong series honestly works best when they limit which characters are anthropomorphic. I thought it worked best when it was Kongs, Kremlings, bears, and then sometimes more abstract characters like banana birds. I think when you start throwing in all the animals can talk, it's a free for all. Pigs are wearing glasses. I think it starts muddling things a bit. It starts to feel a bit messier. And I like when there's a defining line between Kongs and wildlife, because I can wrap my head around that, and it feels like a more exciting world. And if everybody can talk, you're like, well, why doesn't Rambi like have a monocle or an ascot or like
why doesn't he run a store or something?
Yeah, why is he just shitting in the jungle?
Just because he chooses to?
Yeah. I mean, I realize this is all probably down to what you thought, what you imagined when you first played the games. And so I'm not saying one interpretation is right and one interpretation is wrong, but I was honestly, in my early adult life, I was pushed over the edge with my view that Rambi is just a rhino. Because Michael Julius Peterson, M-Dog, a beloved member of the DK Vine and Donkey Kong fan community, did a piece of artwork of Donkey Kong hugging little Rambi. Like this interpretation that this is a younger Donkey Kong when Rambi was but a rhino pup, or whatever young rhinos are called. And like Rambi's a puppy, and Donkey Kong's hugging him. And it's just the most heartwarming piece of fan artwork around. And I'm giving it a plug right now. It's on the DK Vine forum. Not the DK Vine forum. It's in our artwork gallery. And if you go to our website, dkvine.com, you look to the fan artwork gallery. It's under M-Dog. So it's one of the first images there. It's delightful. And I'm like, yeah, Rambi is a big dog. I love that.
Yeah, he always does amazing art. This is great. I hadn't seen this one before. It's wonderful.
You like to bring up the Flintstones on occasion, Dustin.
Every day.
And I get the same idea with the animal buddies, and particularly Rambi, that I do with a lot of the jokes in the Flintstones, where they're just like us, the Flintstones and the Rebels and the citizens of Bedrock, but they live our lives through the prism of this cartoonish prehistoric lifestyle. But they do the same things that we do. And I get the same vibe from the Kongs. That's what I like about the Kongs. They're just like us, but instead of, having a fetch with your dog, you might have a fetch with a rhinoceros.
I do think the Donkey Kong Country cartoon was referred to as a modern-day Flintstones when it came out. That's not true. I made that up.
I was going to say, you're just pushing my buttons now.
I said it now, right now, at least.
It has been said. Let it be on the record. It has been said. The comparison has been made.
But no, I think that's a good interpretation of it. They drive their little cars with their little gorilla feet.
Anyway, but, and yeah, you're going to get stuff like, well, Squitter has sneakers. Where did he get the sneakers? And then so you get some of that. Well, did the Kongs buy the sneakers for Squitter, or did Squitter buy the sneakers himself because he is a spider who has disposable income? But
yeah, can I just say, sneakers are a bad gift for a spider, like for Squitter's birthday. Do not get him sneakers because you need to buy 4 pairs of them.
And he has plenty already.
With 8 feet, he goes through them like candy.
I do like. I have come around to the idea that a character like Squawks can have cartoonishly long conversations with characters, despite that, like they're parrots, so they shouldn't be this verbose. But you can kind of squint and just accept it and be like, all right,
yeah.
And it's something that Retro's duology kind of rolled with. Oh, they talk, but they're just parrots. Squawks says stuff like puzzle, and talks obviously in Tropical Freeze for the Switch is a lot more verbose, but you still get the sense that he's just parroting funky, right?
Love talks.
I love talks. I'm not here to shit talk talks, but Anyway, my headcanon backstory for Rambi is that Rambi was a little wino living in the Congo jungle, somewhere between Donkey Kong's treehouse, which, by the way, my headcanon for Donkey Kong's treehouse is that it was his childhood treehouse that Mimi Cranky built for him, and he just moved into it when he was an adult. But somewhere between Donkey Kong's treehouse and Cranky's cabin, where Donkey Kong would have grown up, where he was raised. Donkey Kong just met this wild rhino in between his homes and hit it off, fell in love with him, and they just would always meet up in the jungle as they grew up together. And Donkey Kong started riding around on Rambi, and it kind of became his de facto jungle pet from a young age, above all others. And that's why I think, like I said, Rambi is, out of all the animal buddies, Donkey Kong's animal buddy. He's the animal buddy that Donkey Kong has the closest connection with.
I agree. I really like that. I don't even have a funny little joke to say to all that. That's just straight up adorable.
And there's really nothing in the games that suggests that. I'm just going off of like what I've kind of built up in my own head over the years, and stuff like M-Dog's artwork helped that along the way. But I think, like, out of all of the Kongs, Rambi is the one that is associated the most with Donkey Kong. And I like that. I like that whenever Donkey Kong is playable near Rambi's habitat, Rambi will also be in the adventure. So
yeah, that is part of why I kind of prefer the dog-ish rhino idea for Rambi. It just works because you can kind of imagine, like you said, there's nothing like that in the games, but you can just imagine a cute little interaction with well, I guess he does the dog pant. That's enough. I think.
Yeah. The dog pant is just the best little bit of idle character animation. I love all of the like idle animations, like Espresso, doing his ostrich thing and like pecking the ground, and but I think Rare informed so much with so little, and you just got the sense of all of the characters in Donkey Kong Country. Maybe not somebody like Squawks, but like the Kongs and the heavy hitter animal buddies in the game. You just knew what they were about. And Rambi in particular, just doing the pant, and you're like, oh, he's like a big dog. I didn't even put it together really when I first played the game as a kid, but it's like, oh yeah, he's a dog. Because I was a cat person. Like I've only had a dog in my adult life since 2018, so I get dogs a lot more now. But anyway, yeah.
As wee child Hyle, you were more of a cat person, which is why you gravitated more towards Ungard, the cat of the sea.
Right, as he's famously known. I'm still a cat person, but I like dogs now too. I like all animals.
I consider myself more of a dog person, but I love both. I'm just an animal guy.
So am I. Like, I like all animals, even cockroaches, but I just don't want to. Just stay away from me, cockroach.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're invited in every day.
Yeah, it's like millipedes. I hate millipedes. I hate anything with a lot of legs, except Squitter.
Yeah, the one exception.
Like, okay, you can have up to 8 legs. Over that, and I draw the line.
What do you need all those legs for?
It's gratuitous.
Yeah, you just showing off now? Oh, you have 2 legs? Huh, check these out.
Anyway,
I'm glad Rambi wasn't a millipede.
Oh, honestly, if they did introduce a millipede animal buddy, I would probably just say, hey, I'm glad they're using animal buddies.
That's true. That's better than nothing.
And if I don't have to ride a millipede, of course, maybe it would be the kind of thing I would need to like millipedes in real life, having it be a Donkey Kong animal buddy. Because I hated parallel birds before Perry.
Now I can't get enough of them.
Now they have to kick me out of the zoo. Anyway, if you do think that Rambi is the verbose bloke as he was in the what was it, the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special, I'm not here to poo-poo that. That's your interpretation, and it's equally as valid as ours. This is just our way of looking at it. I think they will keep it ambiguous in the games. In an animated movie, if they have Rambi, he'll probably talk because you want all the talking characters. They can stunt cast a celebrity, you know. I don't know. Werner Herzog, maybe. I don't know.
I was gonna say Paula Rudd.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know why.
Yeah, they can. I don't know, Warren Beatty, Rambi. I don't know, but they would probably do that in an animated movie. But I don't think the Super Mario movie or the rumored Donkey Kong movie will be considered canon by Nintendo. As I've said before, I think it will just inform the general public's perception of what is canon.
Right. I hope Rambi raps in the movie.
Oh, you know he will. You know, so many characters are going to rap in
definitely.
these movies, and not just the DK rap, which they will use the DK rap for sure.
100%.
I'm calling it, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be it's just going to be one of those things where we're just going to have to accept the Donkey Kong movie not adhering to our interpretation of canon. But, you know, if what we can ascertain from the Mario movie, whether the leaks are true or not, I'm not going to get into that here, but just based on the casting announcements and the characters we know, it sounds like they're surprisingly sticking to DK Vine's interpretation of Donkey Kong canon as it relates to Mario canon. So, hey, I'm excited about that.
I'm down for it, yeah.
I'm down the clown, even if
Charlie Brown?
Even if O.J. Simpson voices Rambi.
Yeah, that would be kind of tipping. It would be kind of tiptoeing on the line a little, but you know, it's still Rambi, I guess.
They're like, hey, this is a character from 1994. Who was big in 1994? Well, the biggest celebrity in the world in 1994, O.J. Simpson.
Everyone knew his name.
Rambi likes to chase things. He was in a Bronco chase. It's perfect. It's perfect. He stabs thing. Anyway, so let's get deeper into Rambi, shall we?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
We're gonna get into the weeds now. The weeds where the rhinos live. Because the question has to be asked, what kind of rhinoceros is Rambi?
Wow, I never even thought about it before.
No, most people haven't. I have, because I have a problem. And actually, I've thought a lot about this, and I've come to the realization that Rambi would have to be a fictional rhinoceros, because he seems to, in his design, be a hybrid of a couple of different rhino types. So I think Rambi is a unique form of rhinoceros native to the rare archipelago. Because he's comparable with the African white rhino in his design in all but his mouth and his horn. The horn, we'll get to. The mouth. Let's talk about Rambi's mouth. Why you're all here listening to this episode, listening to this podcast, because you want me...
Calm down, everyone listening.
You want me to describe Rambi's mouth to you. Well, I'll do it. He seems to share the pointed mouth of the black rhino, which would actually mean Rambi is adept at picking leaves and fruits from the trees.
I love it. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. So we know what Rambi does for his diet. However, I said that Rambi in design looks like the white rhino. Well, white rhinos have two horns, Dustin. Two horns. Now, you could say, well, Rambi lost a horn, in an accident. It happens. Maybe a Kremlin poacher. That's pretty dark. But, it could happen. However, I like to think that the DK Isles rhinoceros has but one giant horn, similar to an Indian rhino.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Rambi is essentially 3 types of rhinoceros rolled into one. He's the complete package.
If you ever want a rhino, this is the one to get.
And you know, I don't think often about rhinoceroses. I just think, when I think of rhinos, I think of Rambi. Because I'm a primate guy. I love my apes and monkeys. And I think about them often. Every day. Every hour, honestly. Okay. Not every minute, because that's excessive, but I bet there isn't 5 minutes that go by in my life where I'm not thinking about some type of ape or monkey.
They just pop into your head from time to time.
They do. And that makes my life delightful at times, because every time I'm feeling the weight of the world get me down, the stressors of our modern world, the funny little monkey pops in, and I'm like,
I like the ones that clang the cymbals together.
Oh, those are creepy, Dustin.
Sorry, forget I said it then. What I meant was I don't like them.
Yeah, no. It's going to be similar to what the original design for Tiny Kong was proposed as.
I'm very glad they didn't go with it.
Yeah, at one point, Tiny Kong was going to be a male grinder monkey. Like the organ grinder monkeys, you know, who were similar to the cymbal monkeys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With like a little fez hat?
Yeah, and I was like, they probably made the right choice just ripping off Dixie Kong.
Yeah. A lot more marketable.
All right, so now that we've figured out what Rambi is and isn't, let's talk about how animal crates work, Dustin. Have you ever considered, why is Rambi in a crate all day?
I just assumed he liked it. He's a rhino. He could get out if he wants. He bashes through walls.
But he seems to like it. He seems to be okay with it at the very least. So why? Where did these crates come from? With the DK barrels, we do have some baked in explanation, at least in the Donkey Kong Country story. The Kremlings threw Diddy in a barrel and chucked him into the foliage, into the overbrush of the jungle, and from there we're like, well, why do these barrels keep appearing? Why are they all marked with DK, and then later DD and DX and CK and FK? Why? And DK Vine has interpretations and theories on that. The Kremling curse. They're actually like sent magically to the barrels every time they get brushed up upon by an antagonist. But what about the crates? Because the crates are never provided an actual in-game explanation, and I agree that they haven't explicitly, but there has been an inferred reasoning behind the crates.
Whoa, are you going to drop that on us right now?
I just did, and oh well, I dropped that, and I'm going to drop what I mean by that. So Cranky's cabin in the original Donkey Kong Country, you've noticed, right, that he has 2 animal crates to the right-hand side on his front porch.
There they are, right there, just like you said.
Yeah, you're looking at it right now, Dustin. I don't know if they're 2 rhino crates, but the top one definitely is a crate that says Rhino on it. And you might be thinking, well, is that Rambi in there? Is that just a spare rhino in case anything ever happens to Rambi?
He's just waiting for his time.
Yeah, that's Gambi. That's
Gambi.
Poor Gambi's been in there for 28 years now.
He is really just hoping Rambi kicks the bucket pretty soon.
I think Cranky is the facilitator of all of the animal crates, and he is the reason you encounter these animal crates throughout the levels. He is putting the animal buddies, at first Rambi, Ingard, Winky, Espresso, and Squawks, He's the one putting them in there, and the Kongs find them, break them out, and then they can utilize the animal buddy skills in that particular area. I think Cranky's behind it, which would add up with Cranky's later appearances, because Cranky, in many of his appearances, does have some sort of relationship with the animal buddies. He is definitely into the concept of the animal buddies more than any other Kong. In Donkey Kong Country 2, he's got Winky in the Monkey Museum, and in the Game Boy Advance remake, he's using Espresso for the Underground Kremlin ostrich racing.
Right, he's friend to all animals.
In Donkey Kong Country Returns, of course, he sells you squawks.
Oh man, that's true. He really does. Maybe it's because they don't talk. He's like, all right, well, I like these animals better than my son/grandson who says a lot of stupid stuff that I don't like.
I also think Cranky is just the type of person who he's very pro Donkey Kong Island. He loves everything about Donkey Kong Island. He was the steward of Donkey Kong Island, at least until Donkey Kong took over the reins, arguably around DK King of Swing. But he was, I think the Smash Trophy description called him the village chieftain, which, good enough, But, Cranky is always going on about how much he loves the island. Donkey Kong Country Returns sprinkles some of that dialogue in there. And also, he seems to be wary of outsiders. He's your typical boomer, right? He doesn't trust things he doesn't understand. And that includes Professor Chops. Who's this pig wearing glasses coming over from Juicy Jungle? Fuck this guy. I don't like him. Get him out of here.
Rude, but I understand.
But Cranky loves the native wildlife of Donkey Kong Island. And, this is even backed up in the instruction manuals where he's always bemoaning that Winky and Espresso aren't around anymore. It was a joke in Country 2's instruction manual and Donkey Kong 64. It was just one of those through lines. So Cranky loves the animal buddies, and I think that he's like, hey, we should be using the animal buddies, who most of the Kongs have a relationship with already. We should be using them in these adventures. So he's I don't know if capturing is the right word, but he's corralling the animal buddies, putting them in the crate, and then having the crates delivered to where they need to be. That's my interpretation.
I think that makes perfect sense. I have nothing to argue that. I didn't even notice those crates on the side of his cabin. I'm sure I've noticed them before, but yeah, that's just, it's not something you really think about. Well, it's not something normal people would think about. I'm sure. Well, obviously you have.
Are you saying I'm not normal, Dustin?
No, yeah, but that's why we love DK Vine.
I have my area of, expertise. I have my speciality, which
exactly.
I think about apes and monkeys every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. You're on the up and up.
What is it that the guys think about sex every 60 seconds, or what's the old wives' tale about that? Well, it gets really awkward for me when the two coincide. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm engaging in any activities with the apes or monkeys. I'm just saying they're watching.
Yeah, it's the only way you can do it when Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are approving.
You know what? I just like when Donkey Kong does his bonus level victory animation. Diddy's throwing his hat
hands up in the air and he goes hee 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 the whole time.
I can't finish unless I get that validation.
I get it. I understand.
But yeah, so if you really go down this rabbit hole, which kind of gets us away from Rambi a little bit, this would get us more into animal buddies in general, and we've already done an episode about animal buddies in general. But if an animal buddy has a pre-existing crate, then Cranky has been there. But you look at somebody like Clapper or Glimmer or Quawks and Squawk in Donkey Kong Country 2's Parachute Panic, they're not in crates. So Cranky didn't get to them. They are just there, and they're throwing in, so...
Right.
Something to think about. Like, wow, Clapper didn't even need any coercion. He's just there, ready to help.
Clapper's just ready to go. You say the word and I will help you out, monkey I just met.
So really, when we're breaking down the most noble of the animal buddies, I would say Clapper and Glimmer and Quawks and Squawk, probably the best.
I think so, too. We don't sing their praises enough. We're going to have to do character witness episodes on all of them eventually.
That's not even getting into the Jungle Beat animal buddies, like Goofer and Orko, and, well, I've already mentioned Floral and everybody's favorite, Skye.
Yeah, when you think about it, Rambi's actually near the bottom of the list.
Yeah, actually, what are we even doing? Let's just end the episode now.
And I've had it with Rambi.
Nah, I'm joking. We love Rambi.
I love Rambi. That's why I wanted to talk about him today. He's a big rhino dog.
He's a big rhino dog who may also talk, if that's your thing. Let's look at his Smash Brothers trophy descriptions for more information on the backstory of Rambi.
Okay.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll take turns. I will read the description from Brawl. You can take the next one, and then I'll take the one after that, all right? So
that sounds dandy.
This is fine and dandy, actually. This is the Super Smash Bros. Brawl trophy description for Rambi. And let me throw in the caveat that, yes, Smash Brothers trophy descriptions get things wrong. They're not 100% canon. From my perspective, my understanding, this is Master Hand and his associates, cohorts, interpreting the events they're perceiving. So they get details wrong from time to time, like they thought that Captain K. Rool was King K. Rool's brother. They were wrong there. They got that wrong. But in universe, that was just Master Hand's foible. That was his misunderstanding. And once he realized that King K. Rool and Captain K. Rool were the same character, they were like, oh, well, I guess he is worthy of being in Smash. And then send him the invite.
Yeah, they're only human. They have flaws and make errors just like the rest of us.
They're only parts of humans, like the hands.
Yeah, they put their gloves on one hand at a time.
All right. So this is Master Hand, presumably. I will say it's Master Hand, writing the trophy description for Rambi the Rhino in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. A rhino friend who appears to help the Kongs in their adventures. Yes, appears to help the Kongs. Who knows if they actually he actually helps the Kong. All right, sorry. I'm just throwing in my own ad libs there. A rhino friend who appears to help the Kongs in their adventures. Ellipses. From a wooden box, even. His destructive power lets his rider plow through enemies and super dash to break through walls and other obstacles. Know what that means? It means uncovering more hidden bananas and life balloons.
Hell yeah.
So that kind of sucked. That didn't really tell us anything.
Didn't tell us anything about Rambi.
Maybe we'll learn more from the Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS trophy description that was written especially for the European market.
We can only hope. I'll jump right into it.
All right.
Donkey Kong's trusty animal friend. They say even the mightiest lion would be afraid of him, and with good reason. Since Donkey Kong Country 2, Rambi's had a special move that lets him charge right into enemies at high speed. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, fuck those lions. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've never seen Rambi ram into a lion, but I believe it.
I've never seen a lion in the Donkey Kong series, so...
Oh, that's true.
It's like, where are the cats, man? Where are the big cats? Where are the lions and the tigers and the jaguars and the cheetahs and the leopards and the Black Panthers? Where are they?
Oh, man, we can barely even get the other animal buddies back, and now you want leopards and panthers?
I know. I'm being greedy. I mean, like I said, I'll take a millipede. I'll take a big, giant millipede.
I don't even like millipedes, and I'll take them.
Oh, I'll take a millipede, and then when like the Kong gets off of its back, there's a trail of slime that's dripping from them.
It's a game mechanic.
Yeah,
the slime mechanic.
So all we learned from that is that lions might be afraid of Rambi. So
yeah, that's something at least.
This is the Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS trophy description written for the American market. A longtime and trustworthy animal friend, even the king of the jungle, the lion, fears Rambi's might. Mario would love a lift from Rambi, but he is all Donkey Kong's. His impressive horn can defeat enemies and smash walls, and since Donkey Kong Country 2, he can super dash.
So it's canon that Mario would love a lift from Rambi.
Yeah, I actually described this once as Mario is thirsty for Rambi.
He likes that big horn.
And this also, like, if this is actually a correct interpretation of Mario's innermost thoughts and feelings, it suggests some discontentment with Yoshi.
He's kind of like, well, I see the newer model over here.
Like I don't know, like maybe because Mario's been with Yoshi since he was a baby, and maybe Yoshi just doesn't provide the same kind of thrills anymore. Maybe the magic is gone. Maybe Mario's got that 7-year itch, and he's looking for another kind of steed. You know,
he needs a rhino to satisfy him.
Look, I think it would be pretty cool to ride a dinosaur with a long tongue who can shit out eggs. I think that's exciting, and I think Mario just needs to realize he's got it pretty good. Go ahead. I love Rambi, and yes, I would take riding Rambi just because I'm a massive Donkey Kong fan, and if Rambi the Rhino was real and I got a chance to ride him, of course I would not pass that up, but in the context of the shared Nintendo multiverse, what the hell is Mario going on about? Like, you got Yoshi, fuck off. Leave Rambi alone. You want everything. You want your little gloved plumber hands in every pie. You're greedy, Mario.
You think you're just because you have a theme park and you're Nintendo's favorite, you can just have anything you want.
Yeah, I mean, how long is it going to take for Mario to start encroaching on the Donkey Kong Country section of Super Nintendo World? He's going to like be looking over the wall, you know, the little like painted jungle wall, and it's just like Donkey Kong will wake up and a little sliver of his park will be taken over by Mario, and Mario's going to be like, oh, you weren't using this, were you? Ooh. That's Mario.
Looks like your rhino's all mine now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the little Ellie animatronic will suddenly like have a like a mushroom cap on it. It's like what the fuck is it? Oh no, this is
when did this happen?
This is my character, Donkey Kong. This is Mushy the elephant.
Mushy the elephant. My favorite. I do like the idea of Donkey Kong and Mario riding each other's little friends, though.
I'm just gonna cut your audio off. I like the just Mario and Donkey Kong riding each other.
Finally, it's about time.
You said it. You can't take it back. It's out there now.
That's true. I gotta stand by my word.
This is now Dustin's erotic fan fiction, and we're all held captive to it.
I promised myself I wouldn't break it out, but you know, when you get into it.
For the complete story, please subscribe to Dustin's OnlyFans.
That's all I talk about.
Could you imagine if that was just a thing? Like that was your OnlyFans? You just really got into lurid detail over your like erotic fan fiction of two cartoon characters.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Let's move on and not bring any more attention to it.
Just checking in with the live stream really quick. Everybody's silent about this part of the episode, but Gibbon said the Panthers and our bemoaning of the lack of big cats. Gibbon said the Panthers are over harassing Conker. True.
Oh, that's true.
But again, a rhino is serving Banjo Kazooie burgers, so that's no excuse.
There really aren't any lions in the DKU, are there? I can't really think of any in like Banjo or Donkey. The only one I can think of are the Rorios in Viva Pinata.
There are the inhabitants of Mayhem Temple, like Chief Bloat is in. They're all cats,
right?
But, yeah, it's slim pickings when it comes to lions. There aren't any for sure. It's weird. I maybe in Bright Savannah, Grassland Groove, you got the representations of them in the floats and stuff.
That's true.
In the big celebration, but we don't actually see any. So, oh well.
Maybe someday.
It chaps my ass a little bit when people call lions king of the jungle, because don't lions mostly live in the savannah anyway?
Yeah, that's not a jungle. What are you trying to pull here?
It could be jungle adjacent. I'll allow that, but the gorillas are king of the jungle.
Yeah, show a little respect, please. With their rhino pets.
Let's go over Rambi's in-game history. So we pretty much pieced together any bit of backstory we can for him, right. Mostly inferred from the games, but we let his actual history that starts in Donkey Kong Country. And there's not much to talk about. You ride him and you charge things and you break open secret passages. But do you think that Rambi has any sort of relationship with the other animal buddies in the game? Like, we know he's loyal to Donkey Kong and some of the other Kongs. He's got that relationship with them. Does he have any feelings, any attachment to Engard or Espresso or Winky or Squawks?
I like to think he does, but we really don't have any reason to think he does either. We never see any interactions with him.
Yeah, you get some very, tangential, things where Rambi might, immediately trade off with another animal buddy in, DKC2. There's the glitch in the, first wave of cartridges in Donkey Kong Country. You can't replicate this on the, Virtual Console editions or, Nintendo Switch Online, but you can, take Winky into a cave that has a crate and just go back in there and break open the crate again, and then you've got Rambi all of a sudden, so you get some sort of trade-off there. But I like to think that the animal buddies are at least cool with each other. Rambi and Engard might not hang out because one's a rhinoceros and one's a swordfish, and what are they going to do? But,
they can't go to the movies together.
There might be some sort of acknowledgement, pets living together in the same household might, have some sort of loose acknowledgement of each other, in a household that doesn't have a dog that's hostile to cats or a cat that's hostile to the dog, and they just coexist, and they're like, yes, I acknowledge your presence. You are part of this family. We just might not hang out,
Yeah.
I like to think that.
Yeah, they're cool with each other, at least.
I could see Engard and Glimmer hanging out because they're both fish, Winky and Glower the Tadpole, who would mature into a frog himself. They might hang out in the caves together with Radley, all the, just cave-dwelling amphibians and reptiles. And, I don't know. Rambi would probably get along well with Hoofer if they ever met. Rambi does meet Ellie eventually, so we'll save that.
That's true.
Yeah. Rambi was just basically... there's not much to say in Donkey Kong Country. Rambi is the first animal buddy in Jungle Hijinks, reoccurs throughout the game, is probably the best animal buddy. Well, Engard, but best on-land animal buddy in Donkey Kong Country.
I feel like there's only one way to figure out whether or not the animal buddies would get along, and that's to do a new season of The Real World.
See, here I thought you were going to say, actually get Donkey Kong Racing released or something like that, but no.
I went with The Real World.
Yeah. I was going to zig and you zagged on me.
That's how I like to keep it.
Donkey Kong Land. This is where I think you can this is where I really started to get fascinated by the animal buddies. Because Donkey Kong Land, most people nowadays, younger fans who have never played it, never really researched it, they may not know that Donkey Kong Land is a separate canonical adventure from Donkey Kong Country. It's not just Donkey Kong Country again. It is a separate adventure, takes place in new worlds, and we believe that the worlds of Donkey Kong Land are offshore islets, because it starts in the Congo jungle, and the Gangplank Galleon docked off the coast of the Congo jungle still, presumably. And then from there it goes into Kremlantis, the sunken Kremlin civilization of antiquity. Then there's Monkey Mountains and Chimpanzee Clouds. And then there's Big Ape City. So anyway, and Donkey Kong 2 sort of backs up this assertion. But anyway, there are only two animal buddies in Donkey Kong Land. Rambi and Espresso. And if we are to believe that Cranky is the one most of the time facilitating the animal buddies, why would Cranky only ship out a Rambi and Espresso crate to the Donkey Kong Land worlds?
Good question.
You tell me you never thought about this, Dustin?
Not once, but now I'm kind of wondering, how did I get through most of my life not thinking about it?
I mean, every cold winter night, huddled around the fireplace, waiting for that sexy Santa to come down, I would think, why didn't Cranky ship out Winky to Monkey Mountains? Or, Squawks might have been of some value. I don't know.
Yeah, in like Chimpanzee Clouds, he's a bird.
Ingard would have surely helped with the Nautilus chase when that Nemo was chasing them in Kremlantis. Come on now. I think that for whatever reason, Cranky, being the expert as he is on Donkey Kong Island and the DK Isles, determined that it was really more dangerous territory, or at least it's territory that the Kongs aren't as familiar with. Out of anywhere in the DK Isles, it was like, Chimpanzee Clouds, it's getting kind of dangerous. I only trust Rambi and Espresso in this situation. I can't figure out Cranky's logic here, why he thought Ingard wouldn't be suited for Kremlantis. But from Cranky's perspective, he was like, I only really feel safe bringing Rambi and Espresso. Or he was being a dick, and he thought, I want to make this harder on Donkey and Diddy because I am making them get their banana hordes back again because I'm throwing a little shit fit over how successful their last adventure was. So I'm only going to provide them two animal buddies to make it more difficult. That's also an equally valid interpretation and honestly rings truer to Cranky's motivations in Donkey Kong Land.
Yeah, have fun with a rhino when you're underwater.
And maybe he just picked Rambi and Espresso because, I don't know, he drew them out of the bucket, out of the hat.
He didn't realize that that Espresso can now jump on enemies.
Maybe that was what Commuter Kong / Hat Kong was going to be used for in the game. He just provided
He's the new animal buddy?
No, he just provided the hat that Cranky drew the animal buddies out of.
Oh,
Cranky didn't have a hat, so he had to call a Kong over who had a hat so he could draw the names out of a hat. But then Paul Makachek was like, you know what? This whole bit eats up the entire memory of the game. I need to cut it.
He calls up Hat Kong and he's like, say no more. I know exactly why you're calling.
Maybe when we get the Donkey Kong Land movie, which obviously will be the sequel, the direct to streaming sequel to the Donkey Kong movie, we'll finally have that bit reinserted with Commuter Kong.
It's what you never got to see.
Donkey Kong Land, now with deleted scenes.
And they really add a lot to this. It's like a 5-second scene. Cranky says, the hat, please. He comes in, gives him the hat, and that's it.
We don't talk much about the design in these character witnesses, right? And there's really not much to talk about. Like with a character like Funky Kong, we can say, then he put on new clothes. And with Rambi, he's just always nude. So there's not much to say. But can I just say, for whatever reason, Rambi in Donkey Kong Land really sticks out in my mind. I like how shiny he looks.
Like the sprite or the artwork?
The sprite. The sprite in Donkey Kong Land, he almost glistens for my... Like he was dipped in some sort of chocolate sauce or oil or just some sort of glistening goo.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at him right now. He really is glistening.
He's glistening more so than he does in Donkey Kong Land 2, I would say.
Yeah. He just got out of the bath. He just got the call to come over.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. Maybe he was because we never see like the watering hole that Rambi hangs out in. You know, maybe he just got out and he was like, all right, fine, let's do this. Let's get this done with.
Put me in one of your little boxes.
Box me up, daddy. Rambi's famous catchphrase, if he could talk.
It says it on the back of his action figure.
We need a t-shirt. When DK Vine opens his merch store finally, we'll have the box me up, daddy. So Rambi, of course, came back in Donkey Kong Country 2. And I don't think there was ever any question that Rambi wouldn't be in DKC 2. Even from an in-universe perspective, if Donkey Kong gets kidnapped, you're going to want... Like, Rambi would want what's ostensibly his master back, right?
Right.
And I'm sure Diddy felt very comfortable with Rambi by that point, so it was a no-brainer for Rambi to be included. Meanwhile, Cranky was like, well, I want Winky as an exhibit in the Monkey Museum, because even though I'm going to bemoan the lack of Winky in the instruction manual, in-universe, I really like Winky. He's one of my favorites, and I want him to be in the Monkey Museum with me. Also, Espresso. I really love Espresso, and I can also use him for Underground Kremlin Ostrich Racing to bide my time while, Diddy and Dixie try to rescue my lazy, no-good grandson / son. So, anyway, all of the animal buddies are actually in play in the canonical events of DKC 2. It's just, it took a while for us to get there and realize that. Also, Candy's in the game. She's in the GBA remake as Swanky's assistant. So every character does return in DKC 2. It just takes a bit. So anyway, Rambi is back in DKC 2, and with Engard and Squawks, he's on the active duty roster. But he's also got the supercharge in DKC 2. And there's never any explanation for why all of a sudden Rambi can now do a supercharge and Guard can do a super stab and Squawks is now, capable of much more than just holding a flashlight. But like Espresso suddenly being able to jump on baddies in Donkey Kong Land, I like to think that the more active an animal buddy is through subsequent adventures, and the more they do in a short amount of time, the stronger they get, the more skilled they get. And then if they're not used over time, their skills atrophy, and they go back to kind of being worthless for a bit.
Right. I think that's fair to say. They had their whole training montage in between games. They really learned how to... do their super moves. I guess Engard just didn't get the memo, at least not in the original version of Donkey Kong Country 2, but now he's racing.
What's that?
Oh, I'm saying, like, they, in between games, they just learned all these wonderful little techniques.
Yeah,
But Espresso,
yeah.
didn't really get to show off his new super move. He just used it in his silly little ostrich races.
Yeah, maybe his super move was just being able to jump on baddies, and he already got that in Donkey Kong Land. And
yeah, he got it. He really put in the effort before even Rambi did.
Yeah. But then then they just sit around dormant for a decade and a half, and that's why Squawks can't do jack shit in returns.
I don't know. Maybe I can find puzzle pieces.
And that's why Rambi really can't do the same supercharge move in Retro's duology, but he can still run fast, obviously, but just not as fast.
Yeah, that makes sense. He looks so tired.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, in Donkey Kong Country 2, it's his third adventure in a year, so he can now supercharge. And the other big aspect of Rambi in DKC 2 that we need to address, because, this is true, too, of Ingard and Squawks and Radley and Squitter. The Kongs transforming into the animal buddies, including Rambi. What's your interpretation of this? Because this becomes more and more the standard as the Country and Land series progresses, up until, like, Donkey Kong Land 2 and 3, you can only transform into the animal buddies, say for, like, encountering Clapper. Clapper, you still just encounter him as the Kongs, jump on him. You don't actually transform into Clapper. But and at Donkey Kong 64, you transform into them. You ride them less and less until you get to Retro's duology, and then, transforming into them isn't a thing anymore. But do you interpret it as the Kongs, like Diddy and Dixie, and then Dixie and Kitty, taking on the form of Rambi, but it's still Kitty Kong underneath? Or do you interpret it as Rambi is subbing in, and like there's no actual transformation taking place, they're just letting Rambi take over? Or do you interpret it as their bodies are getting transformed into the animal buddy, but the consciousness of the animal buddy then slides into it, or there's some sort of matter displacement, or what?
But yeah, boy, all of these are pretty unpleasant.
Yeah, and pretty nonsensical the more I kind of break it down.
Yeah, personally, I think the best way to interpret it, this is just my interpretation, I don't want to say this is the only right way.
Sure.
I think it's best to think of it as subbing them out. Like, you hop in this barrel, Diddy and Dixie take a back seat, and Rambi's like, don't worry, guys, I'll take it from here. Partially because I do not like the visual of Diddy and Dixie fusing together and taking on Rhino form. But also just because that would mean the real Rambi would have a lot less to do. I don't like the idea of being like, what do we need you for, Rambi? We can just become a Rhino. We can just become a Rambi. Then it's like, well, now Rambi doesn't get to be part of this nearly as much.
Yeah, and nobody's ever made the argument that, well, Rambi doesn't actually appear in Donkey Kong Land 2. It's Diddy and Dixie in Rambi's body. But it's like, nobody makes that argument. No, it's Rambi. It's Rambi. And for a series and a studio that's as character-based as Donkey Kong and Rare, you have to have that. Hold on, I'm going to crack open a cider, Dustin, because honestly, this discussion is driving me to drink.
Yeah, I thought something was missing.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird no matter what, so I'm going to have to get some more alcohol in my system, if I'm honest, because I'm already half in the bag.
Oh, I understand.
I'm half in the animal crate. Box me up, daddy.
Before taking a big, long gulp.
So anyway, I'm going to glisten like Rambi in Donkey Kong Land tonight. Yeah, so they explicitly say you transform into them. So as a kid, I took it as Diddy and Dixie are their matter, the matter that makes up their bodies, are turning into like a rhinoceros, Rambi's actual body, a temporary clone of Rambi. However, Rambi's consciousness and his soul, if you believe in souls, slides into it then. And does that mean the real Rambi body is then just a husk somewhere?
It just collapses over.
Yeah, like you said, like this is unpleasant no matter where you take it. There's an element of body horror going into it. But then, Banjo Kazooie, which we view as a spin-off. Yes, YouTube comments, I know Banjo Kazooie was not devised as a spin-off of Donkey Kong. But retroactively in development, that's how it shook out, thanks to Diddy Kong Racing. And yes, Diddy Kong Racing presented it as a spin-off. So eat me. Banjo Kazooie does introduce transforming into animals. And so, am I suggesting that the animal barrels and the later transformative animal crates, am I suggesting that those utilize, like, mumbo magic or humba magic or the similar type of shamanistic magic prevalent in the Spiral Mountain region and the Isle of Hags? Maybe I am, because I don't think Funky Kong would have had the technology to create animal barrels. Cranky, even in his chemistry wizardry, his meth kitchen in Donkey Kong 64, I don't think he would have been capable of engineering something this ridiculous. I think this is straight up magic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's no other explanation for it. There is magic in the world.
A wizard did it, or maybe some sort of shaman did it. Are animal barrels globo powered? Probably not. That's probably ridiculous. But they might utilize, whatever totems, some sort of similar energy the Mumbo tokens use. I don't know. But it is Rambi. That at the end of the day, no matter your interpretation, it is Rambi that's running around in Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Land 2, whenever you break out the animal barrels. So don't worry. It's not just a Kong posing as your friend Rambi.
I sure hope not. It's one of those rare occurrences where a situation being weird kind of makes it a little less fun. I like it being Rambi. I don't want it to be just Diddy and Dixie parading around as a rhino.
And I did like that you could just straight up play as the animal buddies in DKC 2. I don't like how it was then used as a crutch so much. I understand in Land 2 and Land 3, it was just easier to do it memory-wise. In Donkey Kong Land, you just have them ride them the whole time, and they pulled it off then, but to have all the animal buddies in the game, and except Glimmer. Fuck Glimmer, apparently, even though he's all in the box art. By the way, we should probably plug yet again Ape's Donkey Kong Land 2 colorized mod that is now available. You can speak more to this having played it just this past Tuesday.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's wonderful. He put a lot of work into it. He did a mod of Donkey Kong Land 2 and just colorized it. He made it into a Game Boy Color game, just as he had done for Donkey Kong Land 1. And, added a bunch of other little bells and whistles here and there. Yeah, he did a great job, and it was fun playing through. I had never played Donkey Kong Land before, or Donkey Kong Land 2 before. That was kind of the one where I was like, well, I get it. It's just more or less Donkey Kong Country 2, but on the Game Boy. Pass, skip it. And so this was my first time playing it, and it was a good, fun time.
And it's not just Donkey Kong Country 2. It is in some ways, but it's got its own unique takes on the levels, which is
exactly. And Rambi's in it too.
And Rambi is in it, yeah. I feel like I should bring up the one time that Rambi sort of encountered a boss, because Animal Buddy started fighting bosses in Donkey Kong Country 2. Rambi didn't have that privilege, but he was chased by a boss.
Yeah, good enough.
King Zing chased Rambi through the Zinger Hive, and it was up to Squawks to actually finish him off, to actually fight the King of the Zingers. But Rambi got chased by him, and gave us the great piece of music, Run Rambi Run.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like this is one of the more memorable Rambi little bits. It's cool that he gets to... do you think it's fair to say this is the breakout Rambi stage? Like, this is the one where he gets the most spotlight?
Yeah, I think so. I can't think of another stage that really spotlights Rambi to the degree that it does. Because obviously, Rambi's in other stages. He's in Pirate Panic. He kicks off the game yet again. But that's really where Rambi is like the focal point and the centerpiece of the action that's happening. So, yeah.
Another thing that's interesting to me is I was reading the Wikipedia article on Mario Wiki about Rambi, just to kind of brush up on my Rambi history.
Of course,
but,
as one does.
Yeah, of course. But one thing I thought was interesting is that Rambi is in more levels in Donkey Kong Country 2 than he is in Donkey Kong Country 1. That's
not surprising to me, really, because I feel like DKC2 utilized the animal buddies a lot more efficiently than Donkey Kong Country 1 did. I feel like it was a more haphazard, almost afterthought in DKC 1. We loved them, and obviously they spoke to us, and they left their mark, but DKC 2 incorporated them in very thoughtful, intelligent ways, where it just felt like in DKC 1, it's like, all right, here's the rhino. All right, here's the ostrich. I don't know. What do you want?
Just throw them here and there. Don't even worry about if you can actually make that jump with Espresso. Who cares?
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me one bit, honestly.
Yeah, it just never occurred to me. I was kind of thinking Rambi debuted in the first game, but he only has like 3 stages. It's not surprising, but it is interesting to think about since the first one's his debut game, but here's where he really gets to shine.
I think also Rambi left such a huge mark because a lot of us kept replaying Jungle Hijinks, because after all, you have to stick to the treetops in Jungle Hijinks.
As we all know.
Lives. Yeah, but it was just such a great set piece to get to ride around on Rambi as, depending on your interpretation, which is my go-to stock phrase in this episode, but, some people say as night rolls in at the end of Jungle Hijinks, others will say as the storm of Ropey Rampage rolls in, but as it gets dark, you can ride as Rambi to the end, and then you can just turn around and ride as Rambi in the darkness of the stage. And I used to call that being the Night Rider. That's what I would refer to it as a child. I'm the Night Rider, riding on Rambi in the
You were
dark.
the coolest kid in school.
Yeah. So that was just a great, like, whenever I wanted to just hang out on Donkey Kong Island in the Congo jungle, that's how I would do it. I would go to Jungle Hijinks, clear it of enemies, and then just go back and forth riding Rambi.
Can you imagine a more pleasant sight than watching a gorilla and a monkey ride on a rhino at night?
I think about it at least every 5 minutes, Dustin.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So Rambi was in Donkey Kong Land 2, served pretty much the same role, except you could only transform into him in Donkey Kong Land 2.
Right.
The big question then, the big gaping hole in Rambi lore, where was he in Donkey Kong Country 3 and Donkey Kong Land 3? Where was he? Why did Rambi sit that one out? I'm not talking about from an out of universe developmental perspective. I'm talking in universe. Why was Rambi taking a break then? Why was he on hiatus? What was wrong with Rambi?
What was wrong with Rambi? Don't you love him?
I think, I don't know, I think Dixie never cultivated quite the relationship with Rambi that Donkey and Diddy did.
Yeah, because Diddy meets him. He meets him in the first game, and then by Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy and Rambi are like, "Hey, what's up, man? Remember our last adventure?" And Dixie's just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, he's my boyfriend's friend."
I could see Dixie like hitting it off with Ingard and Squawks for sure, and Squitter, but I don't know. Her and Rambi never clicked. She's not a dog person, So,
I was gonna say,
yeah. So maybe when she was setting out to the Northern Hemisphere to go to look for Donkey and Diddy, I don't know how the animal buddies that came with her to the Northern Hemisphere, because there's an explanation for why all the Kongs are there. Funky's opening up his business. Wrinkly, I guess, is vacationing there. Cranky is also there, but he's wasting all his time with Swanky, who Swanky has relocated there after getting kicked off television, and he's opening up his carnival sideshow. So you got the Kongs there. That's all accounted for. Why the Kongs that are there, and why the Kongs that aren't there, like Candy, aren't there, I guess. But what about the animal buddies? How did Dixie get them all to come with her before she was setting out? Well, I might run into trouble, so let's say I'll take Ingard, I'll take Squawks, I'll take Squitter, I'll take Quawks, sure, why not? But I'm not gonna worry myself with Rambi.
You know what? My thought was, when you first asked where was he, my first thought was maybe Kitty was just scared of him. Because Rambi always has this put-offish look on it. He always looks upset and angry. Maybe Kitty took one look at him and went, and so Dixie was like, all right, well, instead we'll get a cute little elephant instead.
Well, that would make sense, because as we all know, Kitty Kong is a cat person.
As we bring up every time. That, I think, on my list of favorite DK Vine inside jokes, that's at least in the top 20.
Right. Unfortunately, the list only has one thing on there, and it's Kitties. Written 20 times.
So I guess it speaks for itself.
It's also possible, too, if we go with the theory that Cranky provides animal lists. Cranky didn't do much in DKC3. He was wasting all of his time, chucking his balls around with Swanky. But maybe Cranky still got the animal buddies involved, and maybe he just didn't find Rambi in time. Maybe Rambi was off somewhere deep in the Congo. Cranky couldn't find him. I mean, maybe this was he was doing this by proxy because he was already in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's hey, I need, he called up Commuter Kong, Hat Kong, and he was like, hey, I need you to, I don't know why I've developed this relationship between the two all of a sudden in this episode.
I love the idea of Hat Kong or Commuter Kong just always being on call, always ready to help.
I need you to get the spare key under the mat, get into my cabin, find the big butterfly net. It's right underneath Saberwolf's head. I need you to go get here. I've got a list of the animals I need you to capture, put in crates, and have shipped to the Northern Hemisphere ASAP. And Commuter Kong just couldn't find Rambi anywhere. I don't think Rambi's omission in DKC3 from an in-universe perspective was one out of indifference or outright hatred. I just think maybe sometimes they can't find them. They have lives.
Yeah.
Rambi didn't know there was going to be an adventure. He didn't know Donkey and Diddy were going to go missing. We're going to get thrown into the body of the new puppet Kremlin ruler who's a robot.
Yeah, he already had plans to visit his parents that week.
Yeah, so I think that Ellie and Perry were just new animal buddies that they used to kind of pad out the ranks because they couldn't find Rambi in time. because Espresso was MIA, because Winky and Radley were off, it's their poker night or what, I don't know, but...
We couldn't find the rhino you wanted, but have you ever heard of a parallel bird?
Got the job done, didn't he?
It sure did.
Oh, we all doubted Perry, but Perry showed us. And then, when Dixie was setting out in Donkey Kong Land 3. So Donkey Kong Land 3 is interesting because Donkey Kong Land 3, there is a whole other adventure going on with Donkey and Diddy as they attempt to do the same thing as Dixie and Kitty are doing, find the lost world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to think that Donkey and Diddy had their own group of animal buddies assisting them. And so maybe, because Donkey and Diddy set off and excluded Dixie, and that's why Dixie got Kitty to be her partner again, because she was left out, and she was like, well, fuck you two. I'm going to find the lost world first. Girl power. And of course, K. Rool beats them all, and that's a whole thing. But, that's the plot of DKL3. And so Dixie relies on the animal buddies that mostly assisted her in her adventure. Ellie, Ingard, Squawks, Squitter. And the back of the box says Perry, but Perry isn't in DKL3, actually.
What a lying statement that was.
I know. I had a class action lawsuit in 1997. It was me and the other Perry fanatics. We were going to take it to court. We were going to get a settlement. But unfortunately, I was the only person who cared enough. And so it was dismissed.
I guess everyone else just missed the memo. Maybe they thought it was like the day after.
Anyway, so I think you could, like, it would be like one of my dream Donkey Kong games out of the 500 dream Donkey Kong game ideas I have would be to have Donkey Kong Land 3, The Untold Tale, as a game where it's Donkey and Diddy going through the events of DKL 3, but they're having a completely different adventure from Dixie and Kitty, and maybe like there are Dixie balloons in that game, because there are Diddy balloons in DKL 3, and I always like to believe the reason was that because Diddy was close by, but he was off screen somewhere, and you were just getting his backwash balloons.
Yeah, they get the job done.
So maybe Donkey and Diddy had Rambi and Espresso and Radley and Quawks, and maybe they had the animal buddies that weren't included in DKL3, and so, like, I don't know. I think that would be fun.
I agree, because I feel like, I don't think Rambi has any ill will towards Dixie, but when it comes down to helping DK or helping Dixie, he's going to go with DK.
Right. He's DK's animal buddy, like, first and foremost. So, yeah.
Right.
And it would make sense that, maybe Donkey and Diddy plausibly did it without any animal buddies, but at the very least, I'm sure they would have brought Rambi along.
I think so. They're close enough good friends.
Anyway, so, as I mentioned, K. Rool did find the Lost World first. He got the prize money, and he used that to invest in the Mechanical Crocodile Isle and the Blast-O-Matic. Oops. Donkey Kong 64, then, gave us very paltry animal buddy appearances, in that we only had Rambi and Guard, Squawks kind of serving that guide role. The owl from Ocarina of Time. He was just there to give advice and to tell you what to do. And then you also had Glower the Tadpole, who Chris Seaver designed when Chris Seaver was thrown into the DK64 mix to get the game out on time. He gave us Glower the Tadpole instead of just...
Love that Glower fella.
Instead of just using Glimmer. But anyway, so Rambi was briefly playable. You transformed into Rambi using the new Animal Buddy transformation crates rather than the barrels that were already pre-established, but whatever. Donkey Kong 64, but whatever. And you briefly transformed into Rambi in that one little rainy bit of Jungle Japes.
It really feels like they did the animal buddies a disservice here, since I feel like you only use both Rambi and On Guard once each.
Once in the primary
Yeah, I forgot you use Rambi another time.
Where else do you use Rambi? Is it it's in
Hideout Helm.
Hideout Helm. I was like Showdown Town. That's nuts and bolts. Wow, this cider has hit me hard and hit me fast. It's gored me like a rhino. Gored me like a rhino, Dustin. No, Hideout Helm. Yeah, Rambi is in there, but besides that, like Rambi is not seen elsewhere except for that little Rambi mini game that you can play from off of the options menu.
That game's fun. It's simple, but boy, last time we streamed it, Special Agent Ape sure wiped out all my high scores on it.
Oh, that's a shame. I agree for your high scores, Dustin.
It's fine. It was all little baby Dustin's high scores.
Well, anyway.
He was able to beat me at 11 years old, so I'll let him have that victory.
And besides, little baby Dustin was scared of the rhino anyway. Took one look at him and went, eh.
I was...
Yeah, I know we've talked about this before, but Donkey Kong 64 was really the moment in the Donkey Kong series, still under Rare, mind you, that it felt like the animal buddies started to become an afterthought, and, well, we don't really have time to figure out something for them, so we're not going to bother. We'll do bare minimum. We'll throw in Rambi and in Guard, which is what people will expect. We'll give them one little bit. We'll throw in Squawks because he makes this good, whatever. Kind of, yeah, Squawks can serve many roles, wear many hats. And then that's it, really. And so, the atrophy of the animal buddies actually started under Rare. It wasn't this innovation of Retro Studios by far.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. I'm glad Rambi was in there at all. Like, it would be even worse if they just didn't bother. It's nice to be able to point to Rambi. I really like Rambi's polygonal design in the game because it adheres very closely to the render and the way he looked in the Super Nintendo games. Like, same with Guard. Like, they do a very good job of bringing it to life. And for whatever reason, a rhinoceros really works as a bunch of janky polygons.
Yeah, I guess that's what his horn is. It's just a bunch of polygons. It works perfectly.
Yeah. So, I'm glad he was in there. Just a shame they couldn't do more with them. Like, I feel like there should have been a Rambi bit in every world.
Yeah.
Or you could have traded off, like have a different animal buddy in every world. Maybe have Rambi come back a few times, but...
Yeah, it's kind of weird that DK is the only one that gets to be Rambi, and also Lanky is the only one who gets to be On Guard.
Yeah, because, you transform into them again, so... I mean... And that implies this weird relationship between Lanky and Guard that there's no context for, considering this is Lanky's first appearance.
Yeah, maybe off camera they just really hit it off.
It just turns out that Lanky is just this huge swordfish guy. Like, that's his thing.
Are you telling me you swim? I sometimes also swim. That's crazy.
Lanky just hangs out all the time on Utan Island, and he's just like, you know what I like about swordfish and all the other orangutans? They're like, fucking Christ.
Again with this shit.
Oh, Rambi was also in Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color, obviously, and you use the animal crates to, again, transform into him. But, it's essentially the same presentation as in Donkey Kong Country. Then the buyout happens, and then we're like, will we ever see Rambi again? The first time we do is in a game we recently talked about on the Kongversation, Josh Wallen, the Geek Critique, and I, and that was Donkey Konga. Rambi does appear in Donkey Konga. Rambi looks shit hideous in Donkey Konga, but he is in Donkey Konga. So the key art for this episode on YouTube and SoundCloud, you can get a good look at the Rambi in Donkey Konga design. And I shouldn't need to tell you which of the Rambi designs in the key art is the Donkey Konga one. You can probably figure it out by looking at it.
Gosh, they just all look so good.
It's the third one. This is the most off-model Rambi has ever been. I know some people complain about the way he looks in Retro's games. But wow. I mean, it still looks like a rhino. It still has the basic cadence of Rambi. He just looks like melted ice cream.
Like one of those pops with the gumball eyes?
Ew, yeah, just like that. Now, Rambi appears in Donkey Konga, as does Ellie the elephant. I think this is the only time they ever appear side by side together in a game. Because Donkey Kong Racing might have been the game where they first appeared together, but it was Donkey Konga, and they were both lured in by the siren song of the DK Bongos. Rambi's,
I mean, that sounds right.
Rambi's dancing to the music of Ditties. And
who can blame him?
And then Bingo.
Go Bingo.
Go Rambi, dancing to the bongo beat. Yeah, Rambi, Ellie, the Banana Birds. They all show up and they dance to the music. Sometimes K. Rool's there, sometimes Cranky's dancing. It's a big dance party. Dance party on Donkey Kong Island. And Rambi and Ellie were both lured in by the music. If we interpret the DK Bongos to be these magical items, possibly artifacts of the Tiki Tak tribe, it doesn't really matter what music they're playing. It's just going to, especially enchant the wildlife, as we later see the Tiki Tak tribe do when they appear in Donkey Kong Country Returns. So it makes sense that it would have this effect on the wildlife of Donkey Kong Island. So it's plausible. It's plausible that Rambi would be taken in by the DK Bongo beat and start dancing to all of the wonderful songs therein.
Yeah, Rambi just has good taste. He knows good covers when he hears them.
Rambi, that audiophile always going on about how warmer the music coming from DK Bongos are.
I will say, even though Rambi looks hideous in this game, I am glad he's here all the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to say I hate that Rambi appeared in Donkey Konga, because I think it's great. And I love that he appears with Ellie, because it feels like, especially for a subset of fans, there's this adversarial thing. Like, are you a Rambi person or are you an Ellie person? You can't be one or the other. And I say no to that. I say poo. You can love both. And I think Donkey Konga is proof that they get along famously when they're together.
That's true. JBH819 in the chat.
Oh, just call them Jebaha.
Jebaha. That's it. They say, why, hello, my good chap, Donkey Kong. Would you like to listen to Good Charlotte?
Now, hold on, Jebaha. Rambi wasn't in Donkey Konga 2. Let's not get silly.
That's a step over the line.
Because that would be libel, and then Rambi could clean us out in court.
That's true. We remember that Perry lawsuit.
Right. All those lawyers who went to bat for me, they're now working for Rambi. Now, Rambi wasn't in Donkey Konga 2, but after Donkey Konga, Rambi started getting referenced in games rather than actually appearing in games. There are a whole host of games during the buyout era, like the mid-buyout era, where Rambi would get some sort of nod. We already mentioned Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but of course, in Donkey Konga 2, there are merry-go-rounds in the carnival in what I assume is supposed to be Big Ape City. And instead of little horsies on these merry-go-rounds, they use rhinoceroses. And, of course, they use I guess, the model of Rambi to bring these rhinos to life. I like the detail that, of course, a merry-go-round on Donkey Kong Island wouldn't utilize horses. It would have rhinoceroses, the go-to steed for the Kongs. So
right, of course.
That's a cool detail. Even if that isn't an explicit Rambi reference, that's more just general rhino reference. Because, I hear people all the time say, well, Donkey Kong Racing would have had a regular-sized Rambi, it would have had a giant Rambi, and a very small Rambi, all the rhinos that are ridden at the beginning of the trailer. I'm like,
I was thinking exactly that this whole time. I was thinking, what about all the Rambis?
I was like, well, those aren't Rambis. You're thinking of these in very Super Mario series terminologies. Well,
yeah.
It's like, they're all Yoshis. Like, there's the main Yoshi, but then there's the other Yoshi and that Yoshi and the other Yoshi. I'm like, well, they're not all... Rambi isn't the species name. Rambi is a rhinoceros. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in Donkey Kong Country 2 GBA when you have all the ostriches.
Right. They're not...
One of them's Espresso.
Yeah, they're not all Expressos. There's Espresso, there's Minogue, there's Mbazzy, there's Beardy... all the classic characters there. But even though we never had this spelled out for us because we never actually got Donkey Kong Racing, and I don't think they're going to announce it at E3 this year, Dustin, because I don't think there's going to be an E3 this year.
Yeah, that's the reason it's not being announced.
If it wasn't for that, damn it, this would finally be the year.
They had it all planned out and everything.
I think we would have had, like, I don't know how they would have worked around it. They probably wouldn't even had them named at all, and you would have just figured, well, that one's Rambi because that looks the closest to Rambi. That one's in Guard because that looks the closest to Guard. But you also have these other swordfish, these other rhinos in there that you can like jump to or grab or whatever. But Donkey Kong Racing never came that far along for them to worry about that. But yeah, they're not Rambis. There's only one Rambi. They're rhinoceroses. Let's not get silly with it.
You don't want it to be like a Toad situation where the species is called Rambi, but also there is just a Rambi.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. I'll go all night long.
You in the chat and listening to this can't see this, but Hyle's fist was bald in anger.
Oh, bald in anger and just white because I'm holding it so tight that all the blood has been pushed out.
Yeah, he had a pencil in his hand. That pencil's now in like 2 halves on the ground.
Not even in 2 halves. It is dust. It is completely sawdust.
He's angrier than you've ever seen him.
Of course, there is also, Dustin, the Rambi Rider introduced in Mario Kart DS. One of the only positive things, in my opinion, to come out of Mario Kart DS. I hate that game.
It's been so long since I played it, I don't remember any specific feelings I had on it. But isn't it usually considered one of the better ones?
Oh, everybody considers the terrible Mario Kart games to be good if they grew up with them. No,
that's true.
Here's the thing. I will even admit Mario Kart 64 doesn't really hold up that well. Aside from things like Block Ford, it doesn't really hold up that well. And that's the one I grew up with. That's the one I defended. That's the one I held to be the best Mario Kart. It's garbage. I mean, it's not garbage. It was good for its time, but Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart, but it's not even that great when you compare it to other kart racers of other series. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Mario Kart DS has some charms. It has some charms. One of my favorite things, though, is the Rambi Rider, a kart that Donkey Kong rides that is shaped like Rambi. I don't know why I'm talking like William Shatner, but I like to think that Funky built this for Donkey Kong. Yeah, I mean, that makes complete sense. And if you poo-poo, once again, my idea that Funky provides the custom carts for the Kongs, well, why else did Funky become the third playable Kong in the Mario Kart series in Mario Kart Wii?
You ever consider that one?
Because he's already their in-house mechanic, so why not just take to the track?
Yeah, I love the Rambi Rider. Like, why would I ever want to drive in any other car?
Yeah, I mean, I like the DK Jumbo, and in Mario Kart Tour, I like the Banana Master, and but yeah, and of course in Mario Kart Tour, we're also introduced to a variant to the Rambi rider, the Rambi Runner, which just has like white tires, and it's just slightly more grayish, or slightly slightly more whitish gray than just dark gray.
It's the Donkey Konga Rambi.
and since we're just on the reference kick, I should point out that Rambi has a street named after him in Super Mario Odyssey.
That's very true.
Yeah, so Mayor Pauline making sure that Rambi gets some recognition in New Donk City.
I love that. She references not just the Kongs themselves, but all the Kong's animal friends. Well, not all of them, but you got the big ones. You got Rambi, you got Rattly.
Got the misspelled Rattly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess she didn't care that much.
No, she's like Master Hand. She can't get all the details right. Not like this godlike figure that can just look on Mario Wiki or DK Vine and get all the details.
Yeah, she puts her gloves on one hand at a time, just like the rest of us.
Right. Stupid. Rambi did appear. This oft forgot about appearance. Rambi did appear again pre-Retro Studios towards the end of the buyout era in a Payon game. Of course, Donkey Kong Barrel Blast / Jet Race. Rambi appears very briefly, kind of like Donkey Kong 64. He doesn't have much to do in the game, but I'm glad he's there.
Yeah, totally.
I believe he appears in the track Dynamite Run?
That sounds right. That's one of the volcano ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's right.
So you can break him out of his crate and temporarily run around on him in a little sequence. And Guard is in a similar scenario elsewhere in the game. This is noteworthy though, because the Payon design, and I call it the Payon design, but I think this was just the standardized Nintendo design of this era, because it also appears in his trophies around this time. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The Payon design hews very closely to the Rare design, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more stout, I want to say.
I like it enough for what it is. I feel like a lot of those Payon era designs, most of them are good, but I have my problems with some of them. Rambi's another one where I'm like, this isn't my ideal Rambi, but it's good enough.
Yeah, he seems like he's more plated. I don't know. He's got like, he doesn't seem as long. He's more stubby, and he's got like very prominent, like I don't know. He almost looks like he has armor.
Yeah,
I can't really describe it, but like he was wearing like bath mats or something on his sides.
It was the latest fashion for rhinos at the time.
I think it's as close to Rare's Rambi as we've ever gotten post-Rare. Which isn't saying much. Which isn't saying much, because he's only appeared in the flesh twice before Retro took over, so...
Yeah.
You know. But,
yeah, Rambi in this game, like you said, he doesn't do that much, but anytime I play this course, I still want to get Rambi. I still want to ride on him.
Here's an interesting bit of trivia to blow your mind.
Ooh.
This is also the only time it's ever depicted, or ever can be depicted, that Kremlings ride on Rambi.
Ooh.
Because if you're using one of the Kremling characters, you can still ride on Rambi.
I can't think of any other time that's happened.
So I wonder what Rambi is thinking.
Yeah, I wonder if he even notices, or if he's so caught up in running that he looks behind him and he's like, wait, you're not a primate?
Yeah, I mean, would he feel the lack of hair
Ooh, DK had a shave, I guess.
Ooh, is it bikini wax season already, DK?
I love it, although it is interesting imagining, like, we never have Kremlings riding on any animal buddies, like, not just Rambi. I think the only animal buddy we get that's on Team Kremling is Screech.
Screech, right. And even then, they're not riding around on Screech. Screech is there, so... Yeah, I would love if first we have to have the Kremlings back in full force in a video game, but I would love if they would build up that... One of the things I really liked about Barrel Blast is how you would have these dark Kremling mirror versions of Kongs. Not in every instance, but like Kip and Cass are obviously analogs to Diddy and Dixie. And it would be interesting because Screech is this dark mirror of Squawks. Like, what would be the dark mirror of Rambi?
Ooh. A capybara.
Yeah, I could see that. Sure, why not?
I guess that's as good an answer as any animal.
Or maybe it would be really dark and it would just be a rhino, but they've cut off its horn to sell it,
That would be a bad rhino to use if you're trying to ram into things.
I mean, it would still trample ya.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess Rambi's whole thing in this game is you just ride on him. You would still get the job done.
And maybe, the writer, whether it's K. Rool or whoever, just so horny because he had all that rhino horn that he's just particularly vicious. And he's just even more dangerous because of the horniness.
Oh, man. Horniness. Because of the horn.
Oh, is that why? Is that the correlation?
Now I see from whence the comedy sprouts.
Oh, I was just saying why poachers actually sell the horns for that reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lame people.
Yeah, idiots.
Stupid.
So Donkey Kong Country Returns. Obviously, famously, Rambi is the only rideable animal buddy in Retro's Donkey Kong Country games. Controversially, derisively, detestedly.
I will say, if they could only pick one animal buddy, I am glad it's Rambi.
Sure, I'm glad they didn't just invent a new animal buddy and just forget about Rambi, but it was frustrating because I remember when Donkey Kong Country Returns was announced and they alluded that, oh yeah, you might see animal buddies, and then we had the Rambi reveal trailer and we were like, this is great, we're gonna get a reveal trailer for every animal buddy.
And you did.
yeah. Awkward silence as the weeks go by towards release. Hey, wow, we haven't seen that Squitter trailer yet. This is getting concerning.
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's this isn't an Engard character witness, so I'm not going to complain about the lack of Engard in Tropical Freeze. We all know it, we all feel it, but Rambi was still utilized too infrequently in both Returns and Tropical Freeze. But he was fun when you got him. He just never felt as essential as he did in DKC 2. Yeah,
I mean, he's actually essential in that you have at least a stage where you have to be him.
Yeah.
I do like in Tropical Freeze when you get him in the Autumn Heights stage. I forget, it's not Windmill Hills, it's like the next one. I don't remember.
The one with the mountain crumbling and yeah.
It's fun charging into the bells and stuff and knocking over all the towers, the windmills.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, it's always fun using Rambi in the games, but he's just there. It seems like they really lean into his destructive capabilities, as you do with Rambi, but it because of that and because of the Kong's increased abilities, he did feel like an afterthought at times. Glad he's there, but again, this is just the story of Rambi since Donkey Kong 64, really. Oh, I'm glad he's there. It's just a shame they couldn't do more with him.
Yeah. And this is still at least the most they've done with him since.
So, from a lore perspective, there is the question, why wasn't Rambi brainwashed by the Tiki Tak tribe? And actually, I think one of our calls gets into this, so why don't we just table that discussion for the calls? But I want you to think about it now, Dustin.
Oh, I'm pondering, all right.
Why wasn't Rambi brainwashed by the Tiki Tak? If the rest of the wildlife of Donkey Kong Island was brainwashed, why wasn't Rambi? Now, his design in the game. What do you think about Retro's redesign of Rambi? Because obviously he's like the biggest thing is they gave him teeth. You can see his teeth now. He's got this like grimace, like and he had teeth in that comic strip we were making light of earlier, but he's never really been depicted with teeth in the games before then. And
right.
I feel like his horn was made a little fatter and a little bit more curved. And of course, the big thing that people point out is he looks a lot more tired. His eyes, like a lot of Retro's character designs, are a little bit smaller than Rare's were. And he's got the bags underneath the eyes. Rambi's always kind of had the half sleepy eyes, but now he's got the bags under his eyes. He looks beat. He looks old and exhausted by the time it records.
Little older, little crankier. I like it. It's just like a dog. We were talking about Rambi being a dog, similar to a dog earlier.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of a dog that's, he's had his time. He's still gonna, have fun with you, but he's not as young as he used to be.
Yeah, everybody ages. Yeah,
it takes him a little bit longer to get up from the front door when the mailman comes.
I'm fine with the way he looks. It's never going to be my preferred look of Rambi, obviously, but it doesn't bother me. It's like the Payon era redesigns of the Kongs. Like, yeah, I miss Dixie's knee pads, but whatever, it's still Dixie Kong.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to complain that much.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a luxury to have these characters back.
I know that's the real thing. Is it like we could complain all day about how they look now, but when we've only had 2 actual Rambi appearances in over a decade at this point, it's like whatever. Give Rambi an eye patch, give him a big cigar, give him a fez, give him. Put him on a unicycle. Just, whatever you want to do. Just give me Rambi back, man. Give me Rambi back.
Yeah, I'll take Donkey Konga Rambi at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm getting desperate. I'm getting the shakes. I'm going through Rambi withdrawal.
I want my Rambi.
Now, Tropical Freeze. The Kongs are blown to the to Lost Mangroves, and they have to fight their way back to Donkey Kong Island. Was Rambi blown with them? That's poor phrasing. Was Rambi pushed off Donkey Kong Island by the gust of Lord Frederick's wintry mix?
Oh, that's a good question. We don't see it in that opening cutscene. Maybe he was just blown away slightly after.
Yeah. I like to think he was, because what else is he doing hanging out on Autumn Heights?
Yeah, he has no reason to be there. Maybe he just enjoys their pumpkins or beers or whatever they make.
Yeah, unless Funky Kong found Rambi before he got out of there and put him in the crate and but yeah, I think it's probably just easier to assume Rambi was just blown with the rest, and everybody else, all the other animal buddies, were either frozen or just had to make do on frozen.
Guess this is
Island.
our life from now on.
Yeah, find somewhere warm and hunker down. I said Rambi's only had 2 real appearances, but technically he appeared in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, along with many other characters, as a spirit. Does count. It counts as an appearance, everybody. Rambi was a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And what does he possess? He possesses a Donkey Kong body. Very apropos, I think.
Perfect. Rambi's one of... I feel like, this is totally random, but it feels like whenever I'm doing a spirit battle and I just click, like, surprise me, just pick spirits for me, it feels like I get Rambi pretty often.
Yeah, I've done this one quite a bit. And I always see it, I'm like, well, I want to do that. Like, anytime I see a Donkey Kong character on the spirit board, I'm like, yes. Yes, I will fight you. I will fight you. But Donkey Kong just, like, keeps trying to charge into you a la Rambi. Because it is Rambi's spirit inside a Donkey Kong body. We talked about body horror before. So like, if the Kongs transform into the animal buddies, this is kind of the inverse of that. This is a little bit of Rambi's own medicine getting taken, like, served up to him. It's Rambi in a Kong body.
He's like, let's see how you like it.
And it was Rambi's like, oh, I hate this, actually. No thanks.
Yeah, never mind. Please get me out of this gorilla.
Yeah. But how weird would it be for Rambi, especially if that relationship we divine from him and Donkey Kong, how weird would that be for, like a dog to suddenly find itself in the body of its human? I feel like that's a Disney movie. Like,
I was about to say, like, the Shaggy Dog. No, that's not the Shaggy Dog.
No, but it's close. It sounds like one of those shitty live-action Disney movies from the 1960s.
Freaky Friday dog version.
Don Knotts would definitely be, on the short list for the lead in that movie.
I've switched bodies with my dog.
No, or he's just a rhino still in the movie. Like,
it's a rhino still. Oh, I've become a rhino. What a good premise for a movie.
Don Knotts is a zookeeper, and a bolt of lightning strikes the rhino cage late at night.
It's a rhino he famously doesn't get along with. They don't see eye to eye on very many subjects. So and then now they're gonna walk a mile in each other's shoes.
Don Knotts wakes up in the rhino body, and the rhino is Don Knotts.
You gotta believe me. Listen to me. I'm not a real rhino. I'm Don Knotts.
It's really bad too because it's his Don Knotts' character's wedding day.
Oh no! Of all the days for this to happen,
right? The bride walks down the aisle, and Don Knotts just charges her because it's the rhino. Just tramples her and the entire family.
Charges into the table, and the wedding cake goes flying off into the audience, into the crowd.
He just pees everywhere, and
there's no jokes. You're just watching a man shit and pee on a wedding.
Just destroy his entire life, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that his fiancée has never been more in love.
Yeah, it's one of the few movies Disney just can't release in this day and age. That and Song of the South. You'll never see it on Disney Plus. I would be at fault if I didn't point out that there is one more Rambi reference in the modern day. Donkey Kong Adventure, the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC expansion. Rambi has an homage with the horn-nosed needler weapon, shaped like Rambi, and the description reads, "Supercharge your chances for victory with this officially licensed Rambi merchandise, available at finer battle HQs everywhere."
Man, so, imagine Rambi merchandise.
Yeah, imagine.
Must be nice.
I do have a little Rambi rubbery figurine from Japan.
Oh, I want those. Those figures are so cool.
Yeah, it's Donkey Kong riding Rambi, and I've got that one. I've got Diddy riding Espresso, and I've got Squitter.
I want to get at least one of those. I'm gonna have to go on an eBay hunt after this.
Yeah, look, there's a website that actually just specializes in them. KingKeshi.com.
Ooh, nice. I'll have to look into it because those figures are just so neat.
They are, and they're expensive to get them individually, but which is why
shoot.
I only have 3. But I've got official Squitter merchandise, so I'm happy there.
That really is the one to get. That's your one chance at owning a Squitter thing.
I took that. I was like, I saw it, and I was like, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'll just give blood this month.
Once Santa comes down my chimney, I'll have to ask him for one.
Oh, stop it, Dustin. You're going to turn me on. So we do have some calls about Rambi. People called in. They wanted to talk about Rambi, so we're going to talk about Rambi with the people as we
Love
do.
it.
All right, so let's go ahead and take that first call.
Hello, this is Linkara, also known as the Lightbringer. And I have a question about Rambi. My question is, in Donkey Kong Country Returns, why didn't the Tiki tribe affect him? It doesn't make any sense. How come every other animal were hypnotized, but not Rambi? Am I missing something? Also, I have a second smaller question. Does Rambi have a girlfriend? Because if not, then I can relate to her. Him. Bye.
Pretty good stuff.
Dustin, I have questions, and I'm hoping you have answers.
Oh, I have answers, all right.
I don't know much about things that aren't Donkey Kong universe, Rare, Platonic. I don't venture out into the scary parts of the internet. I don't do it. I stay in my bubble. I am vaguely aware of this individual that I believe this call is doing a riff on, a little parody, a
little goof about,
a little pretend, a little dress up, make believe. I assume this isn't really that person.
Yeah, I'm like 67% sure that this is my friend G-Man.
Oh, it's G-Man. Okay. Well,
occasional caller
more.
into the conversation.
Jeff's friend, G-Man.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I see you're familiar.
A little bit. Good question. Aside from the presentation. So, why wasn't Rambi brainwashed by the Tiki Tactor? I think it's just right place, right time. Rambi just wasn't around any of the Tiki priests when they were doing their brainwashing spree, so he avoided it.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, I do think you brought up in the past, or someone brought this idea up in the past, that it might have been a better idea to have the animal buddies be the bosses in Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially since Mugly is basically, you could just switch in Rambi and it would barely need any changes.
It would have given you stakes. It would have given resonance. You would have been fighting for something other than just the bananas. Though I really like the whole we brainwashed the wildlife of Donkey Kong Island to serve our purposes plot, but it doesn't really land because you don't know any of these animals.
Yeah, I don't want to save a giraffe. What has this giraffe ever done for me?
And it's like, I would like the giraffe Canopy and the zebra Zygmunt and even the squirrel Cyril. I would like all of them. But maybe they should have thrown in Rambi as part of that, and a guard. Or at the very least, if you want to just have playable Rambi and not get them involved in that, then have Espresso and Winky in there in that batch.
Yeah. It would have been a good way to mix in more animal buddies, too. Like, once you save one, then you'll start being able to play with them in the world in levels.
And that's the only way you can, like, beat the time attack, the time trials.
Yeah.
You know, because they're virtually impossible to do anyway, but if you then have an animal buddy, you know, it makes it... I don't know. These are just ideas, but yeah, and who knows, maybe Cranky was proactive and he shielded Rambi in a crate. I don't know. Rambi avoided, though. Rambi avoided. Like, they couldn't get all of the animals, right? They couldn't get them all. So, and your second question, does Rambi have a girlfriend? Well, we've already established that Rambi fucks. So, I don't think Rambi has any, like, I mean, we've never seen Rambi with a mate, whether that be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. Like, we've never seen Rambi have any romantic entanglements. Maybe Rambi is just love him and leave him sort of guy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to judge Rambi's character. Maybe that's just how rhinos be.
Maybe, maybe he's got a big family and it just doesn't matter because they're not animal buddies, because they're not there to be with Donkey Kong riding around bashing baddies. Maybe he's got 12 rhino children off in the jungle somewhere. We don't know.
Yeah, but DK still lists them all by name in his Christmas cards every year.
It's like Tip Top. We didn't know Tip Top had 20 kids until Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, it just never came up. Like, Banjo and Tip Top are friends. I'm sure Banjo knew about his children, but they don't need to constantly be on screen all the time.
It's like, I know people who have kids. I don't like to hear about it.
I don't care.
No, it's like, that's why I don't get on Facebook anymore. It's just like people. I was like, oh, my little boy ate spaghetti tonight. It's like, why should I care? Why should I care?
Guess what? Everyone eats spaghetti.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They eat spaghetti. Well, guess what? I can eat spaghetti too. Big deal.
Am I also talented?
Nobody ever gives me positive affirmation when I stuff those noodles in my mouth.
And I do it all the time.
All right. Thank you for the... Well, no, actually, G-Man, no.
Yeah, you don't have to thank G-Man.
No, I'm not going to thank G-Man for that call. No. Good topic. But I didn't care for the call. But thank you all the same, G-Man. All right, let's take the next one.
Hello, Kongversation. It's been a while, but it's Jepaha here. Saw you're doing the Rambi episode today, and I figured I would tell a little story about how Rambi has been a part of my life. So this is actually kind of a first-hand story. This isn't a first-hand story, really. This is actually more how my dad tells it. I don't exactly remember the story because I was only like 3 or 4 years old. But apparently, as a child, I used to pretend to be Rambi a lot. And being a weird child, I would always turn my head to the side when I would run because I wanted to pretend I was doing the side-scrolling gameplay, I guess. I don't know, kid brain. But so basically, we were in Walmart one day, and I was doing the Rambi, what he would do in Donkey Kong Country 2, where he would charge his run by I don't know what to say, scraping his foot against the ground first, like a rhino does. And I was running around the Walmart. Well, my dad pulled me aside and said, "Son, you have to stop doing that. You're going to run into something and hurt yourself." Of course, I proceeded to do it again anyway, because as soon as he turned around, I had rushed past him, not looking ahead of me, and I ran into a few carts that were in the aisle, I guess, and I proceeded to fall on the ground and cry like Kiddy Kong in Donkey Kong Country 3. And then my mom, who was older, my sister, walked up. I guess they had to go to the bathroom or something. Walked up, and something to be known is my dad and I used to wrestle a lot, and my mom would, being the protective mother she was, would say, "You're going to end up hurting him one day. Don't play so rough with him." Well, I guess she had made assumptions here, and she loudly asked, "Did you push him?" Which proceeded to get my dad some of the most ugly looks from strangers that he had ever received in his life. And of course, he said, "No, I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that?" Of course, I didn't push him. And then he was like, "I really want to get out of here now because I feel like we're going to get CPS called on us." But yeah, so I loved Rambi so much that I wanted to be him and proceeded to apparently constantly hurt myself because of me pretending to be Rambi. So, yeah. Always been my favorite animal buddy. So, yeah. Bye.
Well, Jebaha, it's quite the story.
I liked it. I like wanting to be Rambi. You know what? It's better to want to be Rambi than to want to be Winky and jump on everybody.
Yeah, I think we may have tied into your theory and maybe validated it why Rambi wasn't in Donkey Kong Country 3, because it was the way Jebaha tells it. He was pretending to be Rambi, wanting to emulate Rambi, and ended up, falling over crying like Kiddy Kong, and inadvertently caused a domestic, and so maybe Funky or Cranky had the foresight in DKC3 to realize that Kiddy would do the exact same thing, would just emulate Rambi, and then, cause problems in the Walmart or in Bizarre's general store with Kiddy's parents, Chunky's parents, the unseen Kongs who brought them up. So
it would have been this whole messy situation, just better to avoid it from the get-go.
Right? Would have run into the carts full of shells and mirrors. No, yeah, shells and mirrors. That's all Bizarre sells. Well, thank you for the call, Jibba. I can't remember if I ever impersonated any animal buddies in public. I did make a Squitter snowman in the winter of 1996.
That's awesome. Did it have little stick legs?
Oh, it had stick legs. Yeah, I found 8 sticks and I put them in the snowman. Didn't have sneakers, unfortunately. I wasn't that inventive, the snow craftsman. But yeah, I definitely made a Squitter the Spider snowman. This was before, the evil snowman entered the Donkey Kong series, Bleak, as we know him. So
right.
I just would have made Bleak then,
Well, that was almost as good a story as Jebaha's.
No, it wasn't, because my parents didn't fight over it. So we also got a textual call, which I'm going to read aloud now.
Ooh, hey, story time.
Yes. Hey, Hyle and Dustin. This is Diana, or as my screen name shows me, Freezer. Long-time listener, but I've only recently joined the forum, Patreon, and all that other stuff you want us doing. As I'm sure you've discussed, Rambi is basically the most vanilla of the animal buddies. He's basically a souped-up Yoshi. But it's a concept that you can't go wrong with. It works, and Rambi coming back in almost every game is a testament to that. But Ellie the Elephant replaced him in DKC 3, and was noticeably different with her trunk being used for a lot of things Rambi couldn't have done. So my question to you is, if you have a preference of either the faster-paced and more kinetic Rambi, or the slower but significantly more varied Ellie, and if you would have preferred Ellie being the one rideable buddy in the retro games instead, or are you just glad they got something they couldn't mess up with Rambi's fast action? Happy to hear your thoughts. Also saying this on my 28th birthday, which is June 3rd, so thanks for celebrating my birthday by talking about my favorite fictional rhinoceros.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Diana. Happy birthday. So, yeah, Rambi v. Ellie.
Where do you land on this argument that's been plaguing mankind?
I love them both so much. So here's my philosophy, Dustin, when it comes to swapping out characters. I feel like Donkey Kong fans, especially in the last, let's say 20 years, we get very agitated when characters get replaced, right? Mm-hmm. Because our thinking is, I don't know when I'm going to get to see my favorite characters again. And when we do get a Donkey Kong game, and they're not even in it, then what? I have to wait another 20 years to see this beloved character again? That wasn't really the case for me from 1994 to, well, like the entirety of Rare's tenure shepherding the Donkey Kong series. Especially 1994, 1995, 1996, when we were getting, the annual releases. It didn't really matter that they gave Rambi a break, because whatever, we had just gotten 4 games in a row with Rambi, and other beloved characters were coming back in DKC3, so I was all about giving some characters a break, trying out new ones, falling in love with them. So I've never had this idea, and I was also never one to be like, oh, I can't believe Donkey Kong's not playable in Donkey Kong Country 2, but it's called Donkey Kong Country. Oh, this is bullshit. No, I was all about Dixie Kong, I even loved Kitty. So to me, Ellie was just it was just a great new thing to try out, and I knew Rambi was going to be back one day, and sure enough, he was. And if Retro had just gone with Ellie, that would have been cool too. I'd been like, oh, I can't believe they went with Ellie. What a strange choice. But, I'm glad they went with Rambi, because like Dustin said, if you're going to go with any animal buddy, it probably should be Rambi, because Rambi is the most iconic. He's what most people think of. He is essentially Donkey Kong's Yoshi, for better or for worse. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love both Rambi and Ellie as well, and if I absolutely had to pick just one, I would have to go Rambi for that exact reason. But Ellie, I would argue, is the better of the two animal buddies, just because she can do so much. But, well, I don't know, because Rambi really can just plow into anything.
It's true.
I don't think... Can Ellie destroy the Buzz enemies in DKC3?
Not the invulnerable ones, but the green ones. I think she can with the water.
Right. Okay.
Or maybe she can jump on them. I can't remember if she can jump on them or not, honestly, because we're getting close to 3 hours of hardcore Rambi discussion.
It's taking its toll on you.
It's starting to wear itself a bit thin. Yeah, it's like when you're transformed in Rambi and you're like right at the threshold of crossing the no animal sign, and you can feel like the Rambi life force leaving you. That's the way I'm right now. So
all this body horror.
I know. Ugh.
But yeah, that's what I'll say on it. I pick Rambi, even though both are very good.
Yeah, and honestly, like, when Jungle Beat was coming out, before it had been released, and we knew, like, Rambi wasn't going to be in that, it was going to be Hoofer, the wildebeest, there was all this fuss and strife in the fandom and on the DK Vine forum, and from me. I'm no angel. I've committed some sins. But even Hoofer has grown on me over the years. And I recognize that, Jungle Beat works as its own thing, as Donkey Kong going to the faraway lands and not bringing anybody with him and befriending the wildlife there. And so I'm fine with Hoofer. I'm fine with Ellie. I want them all in a game. I want them all hanging out. Why not?
Are you fine with Orko? Let's go.
I love Orko. I love Orko's babies.
I love that Orko is in that song.
Wait, what?
That one Donkey Kong, like, I forgot the name of the actual song, but they did the cover of it, like a parody of it, except they made it Donkey Kong. It's I clap my hands up in the air sometimes. 100 bananas for an extra life. And then in the first one, they say, get on the Rhino, Diddy, let's go. But in the second verse, it says, swim with Orko, Diddy, let's go.
Oh, that's right.
So Orko actually gets a shout out.
I completely forgot about that parody from 2010.
Pretty cool stuff, huh? I didn't forget about it because I play it in my car every day.
I mean, it's no sexualizing Santa Claus, but, you know.
It's still arousing all the same.
It got some of us off in 2010, that's for sure. Well,
this has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.